What the heck kind of disrespectful comments are these? FYI, Tanner shows up even later than Amit. Just letting everyone know, by the way, that no one is showing up for you on time. My bad, guys. Okay, so essentially what just ended up happening, I wanted to set up a brand new PC that I just went out and bought. I got what I thought was just top of the line across the board, spent a fortune, but have a PC that's going to work. This is not that PC. I could not figure out how to set it up in time to have all the tools that I need in order to go live. So that kind of sucked. I was halfway through setting it up and then realized that I was just going to have to disconnect everything, reset up my old PC in order to go live. I'm worrying about my computer shutting down during this live stream because it's shut down twice already today. It'll be the last day that we have to deal with this. Anyway, let's jump into the news, ladies and gentlemen. First up, we have stocks to go through. We first of all have to talk about dLocal, up nearly 32% on the day. Okay, based on the earnings report that they ended up showing, triple beat on revenue, beat on net income, and then also raising their guidance. This is a payments company out of Latin America. Opendoor, about to close the day up 23%, bullish, up another 10% on the day. Absolutely incredible. Intel up 6.5%. But the main catalyst of the day is going to be Nubank, falling quite a lot into this report. Now $11.91. People are not excited. Now, to be honest, it's a little bit worrisome here for me. Okay. There are some concerns that I have about Nubank, where they've been placing on their app rankings. Their website traffic tells a little bit of a different story than what their app downloads have shown off. And then we have currency headwinds and these sort of things that could play favors for them. Q2 is looking pretty good, but I wonder how that plays into a potential guide. We will have to see. Okay. That being said, every tweet that's coming in is saying that my PC is overkill. My bad. This is actually what I ended up buying for the computer nerds out there. I don't know, dude. I just wanted something that worked. And if the money is going back to the companies that made me rich in the first place, like Nvidia, for example, I've got no problems buying their top of the line chips. And I didn't even do that. I didn't buy any 5090s or something like this. But yeah, hopefully, it has nothing to do with gaming, by the way. That's just for YouTube. That's just for scrolling the internet and the occasional editing. And really, it is really occasional. Yeah, but what makes great for gaming makes also great stuff for just general PC overall. But yeah, so let's get ready for this market close here in the next 10 minutes. It's really only Nubank that we're going to be covering. There are other names that are showing off earnings today, not many that I care about. We will take a look at their overall numbers. Applied Materials is showing off today, or is doing their earnings. Quantum Computing Inc., Nano-Nuclear Energy, Bit Digital, and yeah, that's pretty much it from the company's SanDisk. If you guys are interested in that as well, maybe we can show off SanDisk. But yeah, overall, Hood's down, SoFi, all these, Hood's not down. Sorry, SoFi is down just slightly, 1.7%. Hood is actually at $111 per share, 11.15, which actually places them at just under $100 billion market cap. It's insane the moves that this name has made. It really has been. We've been buying for quite a while now, back in January of 2024, so which places us right around here. Or sorry, no, it would have just been right after their earnings rate here for Q4. So early February-ish, right there. But yeah, so we've made a nice little bounce on our money there, but I continue to hold because the hope is that they continue to take more market share over time. And like a lot of people in this chat, you guys use Robinhood for trading. So if they can continue to grab more of the audience and improve their products to take more away from Schwab and Thinkorswim and all of these ones, then that's how they're going to win. On the other side of that is also banking related products. And I've been pretty on this for a while. I think that banking will double their revenue, especially in the United States. Hopefully they grow on an actual international level as well. But right now that isn't a big part of their overall revenue. It's mainly just US. So yeah. Cover new holdings, guys. Do not worry. There's not going to be any there will be a lot of new to talk about. But until we have new earnings, then there's not too much for me to cover about this company. I mean, even between whenever the bell rings and them showing off earnings, we still have additional time because they show off at 4:15. Okay. And then, yeah, we'll have to see. I am praying they dominate this quarter. Praying. Buy new holdings before earnings. I have a good position. I was buying this quarter. I have not purchased today before earnings. I still am a little bit like on the fence. It's a very large position for me, or has grown into one at least. And I do think that they could be potentially, a $20 stock right now. Right now they're at $12 per share, just under. But yeah, little pop rate at the end here of the day. Hopefully, trying to get above 12 for the market close. But after being down over 3%, $11.99, close in 5 minutes. Yeah, we will see. Aside from that, I mean, I will end up bringing up earnings predictions as well. We have essentially what Wall Street is saying, $3.67 billion in revenue, 14 cents of EPS. And last quarter, it was a double miss. But remember, it's not based on what they're just showing off in their numbers. We also want to see what the difference between, foreign exchange neutral numbers are versus what they're seeing on a GAAP basis. Because this is a Latin American company. So similar, or like a lot of people might know Amit's channel, and he's very interested in Grab. But a similar thing can happen with Nubank, where not only are you looking at your intercompany metrics of saying how well have they grown in Brazil, how well have they grown in Mexico, how well have they grown in Colombia, but also factoring in what does that mean versus the US dollar, because they report in US dollars, but yeah. Let's make sure that we also have the call ready. Their call is at 5:00. But they've known to have some pretty long calls. They can be very, very long, about an hour and a half to 2 hours sometimes, which is unique for businesses. But they want to answer every single question that analysts have. I haven't heard David Velez or talk in a real while, so I'm pretty freaking excited, to be honest. He put it in a podcast a while ago talking about how they're going to continue to take market share. But yeah. Good luck to new holders. Yeah, we'll show AMAT today as well, but we're going to be listening to the Nubank call. It'll be a very interesting one. If you guys don't know this name, if this is just if you're just showing up to watch a potential live stream, although this is a bank and a digital bank, very similar to maybe a SoFi, for example, this is by far the fastest, digital bank you'll ever find in terms of growth rates. The margins are insane. They have an unbelievable total addressable market. And that's why they're at a $57 billion market cap today. But many analysts see this getting into above $100 billion. They have the largest amount of digital customers than any other bank in the world in terms of digital customers. I think that's outside of Asia, to be honest. I think there's a few names in China that have many hundreds of millions, but I think Nubank's at 119 million customers, which makes it the largest outside of Asia. It is excellent penetration in a market that has, 600 million users. Yeah, very, very interesting. New is 10% of my portfolio. Well, good luck to you, my friend. We are here to watch what's going to happen. Market close in the next few minutes. We'll keep an eye on some of the bigger names as well. Reddit's up 3.5%. Weeble's up 3%. Amazon's up 3% to 231. Wow, that's recovered quite nicely from earnings dropping all the way down to 211. That's incredible. Yeah. Robinhood continuing to be strong here. Going to close green. That's very exciting. MasterCard doing well over the last month. JP Morgan. Yeah. Holy, ladies and gentlemen. It's a nice green day. NASDAQ's up. S&P 500's up. Not by much, but hey, we'll take it. We will take it. We love a green day. CoreWeave on the other end, down 15.8% on the back of a big, I was going to say miss, but that's not necessarily true. But on a big disappointing quarter that people may have said that the stock had ran a little bit further than what they were expecting from the company. Figma, another IPO, massive run here that is being sold off once again, down 7% today. Circle down 9%. That's another recent IPO that's been selling off over the last month or so. So is the IPO market something that people want to be involved in? The trade desk, this one cannot catch a freaking break. Walmart said they are not dealing, or not that they're not dealing with trade desk, but that they are exploring other options and might not be as tied to the trade desk as what analysts may be hoping for. So that fell another 6.6%. We take a look just in the month since earnings, down 40%. It's in my stock draft. It's no good. Jeez. That's definitely one, in my opinion, to explore. I don't have a bell, okay? Market's closed, but I do have a water bottle. That's not too bad. That's a shout out to Amit right there. Ladies and gentlemen, the market is closing. D-Local, by far the biggest gainer in my watch list here, gaining 31% on the day. 1%. Open Door up 25.6%. Bullish up 9%, continuing to run into the after hours. Intel up 7.4%, up another 0.6% in the after hours. Markets are green. But now we look to Nubank and we look to Applied Materials to see what is going to happen in the close. Let's keep an eye out on those. But until then, let's make sure that we have the presentations ready to go on Nubank, and we're going to go through every single statistic that we have. Did you ring the bell? I rang my water bottle. you guys are telling me to follow Tara Wolf. It's just not a name that I track. So my fault. Up 59.5%, but this is literally not a name that I cover at all. AMAT is dumping. Yep, it is. Down 6.77%. Let's go see what the market has to say to see if we... Yep, numbers are out. So far, just top and bottom line, EPS 248 versus 236 expected, beat by 5%, and also up 17% year over year. Revenue beat also by 1%, 7.3 billion versus 7.2 billion expected, up 8% year over year. $151 billion market cap business, falling 6% in the after hours, even with a double beat. But it could be guidance. It could be other things that we have to look for. But currently in the report that I'm seeing right now, that's only showing top and bottom line, it looks okay so far. Now, the expectation for Nubank's numbers is 415. Let's hope that that estimate is wrong and we get something early, but the likelihood of that is not high. Nubank, I don't know if this is actually running in the after hours. We're up 0.6%. This could be earnings jitters. I wouldn't necessarily call that a win just yet, but Applied Materials down 8.8% now. I want this report. Let's check their investor relations and see if we have something just yet. But most likely the Bloomberg institutions have something, which usually has to do with outlook or guidance or some sort of event that has happened in the earnings that is leading to this quick sell-off on a double beat. That's very interesting. I do have the report right here. Gross margins, 49.1%. Record GAAP EPS of $2.63. Oh, sorry. No, this is their old report. We're looking for fiscal year Q3 then, which we do not have just yet. Stock continues to fall in the after hours, now down over 10%. As we look for... Love your channel. Do you own AppLovin? What do you think of the company? I do own AppLovin now. Bought in just after the earnings of last quarter, but I'm very big into advertising plays. So far, I'm a very big fan of the business. And the growth is based on what they are doing, which is essentially only allowing in certain customers. Once they open the floodgates in sort of a self-serve type motion, they believe that the growth could be absolutely huge. Hey, Tanner, you should really look into Micron. They've got an insanely nice total addressable market. Yeah, I just haven't played in the storage space. I've always played in the GPU side with NVIDIA, but yeah. Are you using Mumu, bullish Mumu? I'm not necessarily bullish Mumu. I just find it very easy to see on stream. I just like the visuals much more than a Weeble, for example. But I think it's mainly on whichever one that you get used to. AMAT down now 10.8%. Hims and Hers probed by US FTC over cancellation practices. Ooh. I wonder if that's going to be treated much worse than in Uber or some of these type companies that also have terrible cancellation practices. But because this is healthcare, this might be just a little bit different. Now starting to fall into the after hours, down 2%, maybe recovering. A slight probe might not be the end of the world. But that just came out brand new, hot off the press. We'll keep an eye on that as well. Nubank now slightly down in the after hours, but this is still just basic jitters. More on Applied Materials. Adjusted EBITDA came in at $2.28. The estimate was $2.36. Another beat. Net sales beat. Semiconductor systems net sales ended up beating. And Q4 net sales, this exactly was the miss. I called that. That's Outlook. So they are now expecting 6.2 to $7.2 billion in Q4 net sales. The estimate was for 7.3 billion. So although they beat this quarter, it's what's happening next quarter. And they saw about $100 million lower on Wall Street's midpoint to Applied Materials top end side of their guidance. Now, most times they put out guidances that try to be beaten anyway, so they're always a little bit conservative. Most companies are, but that was a miss. EPS for next quarter was also a large miss. Adjusted gross margin expected next quarter, which is their fiscal year Q4, fiscal Q4, which was 48.1%. Let's see what else we can find here. CEO said, we delivered record performance in Q3 and are on track for a 6th straight year of revenue growth. The CFO also said, expecting a Q4 revenue decline from China capacity digestion and nonlinear leading edge demand, but remained confident in long-term semiconductor growth. Interesting. For those interested in Applied Materials, if they're being a little bit conservative on next quarter's guidance, or if that's just macro driven from one of the geographies, maybe this is the discount that you were looking for, down 10%. Matt Money making me laugh out of the corner of my eye here. Nubank flat on the day as we await earnings here. Let's make sure that we have their news room ready to go. And my girlfriend just showed up at home, so my dog is about to freak out and want out of this office. So give me one quick second. Okay. She went to go see my girl. I just heard the front door open. I'm like, I know what's going to happen here. So before she comes jumping on me, let's make sure we get her out of the room here. We have Nubank ready for earnings. This should be coming out in the next few minutes. Stock is still flat. Applied Materials down 10.7%. Boy, oh boy, I'm excited. Oh man. So you know how there's times where a company will report and you feel extremely confident with their numbers. This is not one of those times for Nubank. I mean, hey, if they do everything right, I'm still a shareholder. I'm still very confident in their execution. So my hope is that things will be very green across the board. What I don't want to see signs of slowing customer growth, on a margin side based on currency headwinds, that there's problems in their numbers that Wall Street's going to hate and pick them apart for. If on the other side, they end up seeing loss rates tick up on the loans that they end up giving out, like that would just be, fuel to this fire. So we will see numbers here soon. UNH is blasting off. I heard up 5%. What's the report on that? I don't have anything for UNH here. What is going on with UNH? Oh, is it just David Tepper? David Tepper increases stake in UNH by 13x what he owned before, now owning 2.45 million shares worth $665 million. UNH skyrocketing on that news. David Tepper is a legendary investor. Yeah. That's a pretty interesting one. So UNH up on that, back to 285. It's been quite the recovery from the lows of 237 roughly. Applied Materials still down 11.5% now in the after hours. Absolutely insane bleed off here. Hims and hers still falling on this probe news. Jeez. I don't know if it's I didn't see Buffett. If that is the news, I know that he had a secret stock that was going to be released today. Yep, it was UNH. It was UNH. Warren Buffett took a $5 billion position in UNH. That also happened. Bro, I called that Monday when I was on the podcast with Amit. He likes healthcare companies. Warren Buffett and David Tepper making huge stakes, $5 billion and an additional $700 million. Well, $665 million. Wow. 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 That was Buffett's legendary secret pick. Yeah, I mean, if he was going to, I didn't actually think it was that hard of a call. I mean, the sell-off was insane, and they do like value picks of large names like that. I didn't think it was that crazy of a call. Now it's continuing to climb up 7% now. Wow, congratulations to those that bought, especially after last earnings dropping down below 240 to now be at 290 already. Just insane. Let's take a look at Warren Buffett's purchases here. This is his new updated 10Q. He reduced his stake in Apple, reduced it in Bank of America, increased in Chevron. Let's see what else here. Constellation Brands added 11%. UNH now being 0.61% of his whole portfolio. That's crazy. Domino's Pizza, slight add. Pool Corp. Lennar, that's kind of interesting. DR Horton. Yeah, I don't really care about many of these. The Lennar one is interesting. UNH is definitely by far the biggest and most exciting buy here from this. And the continuous trimming of Apple, I find that interesting. Continuous trimming of Bank of America. Man, his position in American Express has gotten so freaking big. It's insane. Absolutely incredible. That's Warren Buffett's secret position, ladies and gentlemen. Very interesting. Up now 7.2% in the after hours is UNH. Now it's about to be 4:15, so we're about to see Nubank's numbers come in. Let's keep an eye out on this one as well. We're going to keep an eye out on UNH, HIMS, Applied Materials, Nubank. If there's any others, guys, let me know. But the numbers for Nubank is why we are here. This is what we came to see. Let's go. It is 4:15. The stock is moving up. Let's hope. Pretty flat, honestly. A little bit of a letdown. I thought we were going to see more volume than that. This is a $60 billion company, for gosh sakes. Let's get some freaking numbers in here. Now, UNH, much more exciting to follow here. Come on, Nubank. I am checking. Trump administration said to discuss taking stake in Intel. I mean, this Nubank starting to climb now, but we also got Trump news on potentially taking a stake in Intel. That's also what I thought that they should have done for NVIDIA. Rather than just taxing them 15% to sell to China, why don't you have some sort of preferred shares in NVIDIA, take a dividend, and actually enjoy in some private market, appreciation of these American companies that are ruling the world? Intel, though, let's take a look at that name as well. Up 2.6% in the after hours. Nubank not skyrocketing any which direction. If there is good news, or if there is news, it's looking a little bit positive here. But remember, we're down 2.9% today. So a 1% recovery doesn't even, make a big dent. Am I speaking too soon? Maybe. Come on. We're above $12 a share again, $12.28. And I'm refreshing. I don't see any numbers just yet on new. It is expected for 4:15. We are past that time now. But we shall see. I mean, if numbers are out, it doesn't seem like it's some stunning triple beat or anything like this. The market just doesn't seem that excited from an institutional perspective. But overall, I mean, I will take a positive 2% after hours type earnings. I mean, it's definitely not bad. I was just hoping for a little bit more volume either way. I mean, even down 10% is better than this. I mean, I would have liked to have bought in the dip or have some appreciation here. But I still don't have the numbers yet in terms of the actual results center. Is Adobe climbing? No. No. Yeah. UNH buying, Warren Buffett buying 5 million shares of UNH. There is a levered 2x long UNH daily ETF that is skyrocketing right now. UNHG. That's kind of interesting. And Nubank back to flat. So freaking boring. Did I see D-Local? Of course I saw D-Local. That's absolutely incredible. Look at this on a 5-day chart. You tell me when they showed off earnings, eh? It's not a similar company at all. One's a payments company, the other one's a bank. But yeah. Come on, Nubank. I want to see some numbers that shock. Let's just hope that nothing's been reported yet. Honestly, I'd rather them be late than it be this boring. Do you read Twitch chat or should I join YouTube? I read Twitch chat. I also read off your exact comment a little bit ago. No, I do have a Twitch as well for those that prefer to watch on Twitch. But most people are here for YouTube. That's for dang sure. Still no new numbers. Yeah, I know. I'm following many large accounts that do have Bloomberg terminals, and I am not seeing anything from them either. I'm refreshing Nubank's own investor relations page. Not seeing anything there. Stock is still flat. Applied Materials down 11%. Him and Hers down 5% on a potential probe that cancellation practices might not be as good as what the FTC wants to see. And UNH is up based on David Tepper and Warren Buffett especially, or at least Berkshire Hathaway, purchasing United Healthcare stock. We need more PC chat, Tanner, but I'll wait until earnings. Amazing specs. Thank you. Thank you, Cactus. Yeah, all it took was money. It's funny what you can, how you can impress people by just spending thousands of your own dollars. It's crazy. Do you read off the Kick chat? I don't have Kick. Actually, well, I do have a Kick, but I don't stream to it currently. It's not easily set up. But I think I have an account on all major platforms, so if those do become popular, that at least I have the name there or whatever. But yeah. Nubank still absolutely flat. 600% viewer increase after the Twitch shout out. Good investment. Yeah. I mean, by 600%, you mean 6 people? Yeah. Big shout out. So the actual Nubank call, which should be on time regardless, will be at 6 p.m. So that's also when we get to see a lot of the real information on how they're going to do. Now, maybe I'll listen to it on Earnings Hub. That might be a little bit better. I hate the fact that they do Zoom calls. Maybe we'll just listen through Earnings Hub. Okay, let's see if we have any posts on Nubank releases. Still doesn't look like it. Yeah, Twitch growth at all costs. Okay, well then that's a good investment. If you're watching on both, I mean that's the best of both worlds right there. But yeah. It's actually don't ask who's an Amit refugee. It's all of you. I'm fully aware of the numbers that we're seeing here. I know you guys are Amit refugees. I'm fully aware. And of course it's like on such a boring day as well. Like if it was on a SoFi earnings day or something, I could really show up or later on for Nvidia earnings. That one will be very exciting. It's by far my largest position, so these types of names would be an absolute party. But instead, you guys get to witness me potentially lose money on Nubank, and most of you guys don't even care about that business, but still, your presence here is very much appreciated, and I love the fact that you guys are here. Amit abandoned us. Yeah. Gosh, it was so much better whenever he was living with his parents, right? Like, I mean, why couldn't he just no, so yeah, exactly. He's moving out. That's why he's not live right now. That's the only reason. This is moving day. But once he actually has his own place and everything, he will be, live probably even more than he was before. Like a lot more, probably. I cannot wait for this computer upgrade, man. It's literally in the other room. Just the best PC you could possibly buy right now. And I have to fricking sit here on this laggy, terrible PC. Nubank's starting to run. We might actually have some numbers here. Let's see. Doesn't look like it. I don't know. No, we are starting to run, about to be up 1% again. This could be the results that we were looking for. Let me refresh on their results page. Not seeing anything there. Let's check the SEC filings. Come on. Well, what's the point of saying you're going to release them at 4:15 if you just don't? I think this happened last quarter too. If you're a Latin American company and you say, hey guys, you know what, it's fine. We're actually going to be, doing things by the book. We're going to go on a gap basis. We're going to follow the American rules. And then you freaking delay earnings. I'm pissed. Is it 4:15? Actually, 5:15? No. It says 4:15. I'm reading it right here. August 14th at 4:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yeah. Is there a time lag? Time lag? There's no time lag. Yeah, it's the PC lag. That's more like it. But currently in the after hours, that's staying absolutely flat. Let's check AMAT again, down, wow, 11.7% now. UNH up 7+%. Nubank still flat. And let's see what else we saw. Intel filed an 8K amending its deal to sell a majority stake in Altera to Griffin Aggregator. Minor changes to purchase price terms, no material cash impact. Earliest close now September 12th. Deadline extended to September 13th, 2025. Okay. CoreWeave still falling in the after hours. Wow, another 1.5%. Let's see what else. Bitcoin now at 118,000. Ethereum at 4,500. Those both sold off today versus the highs that we ended up achieving yesterday. That's absolutely incredible. But all eyes should be on Nubank. Absolutely nothing to be said on this name right now. How sad. I should have called this the UNH stream. Tanner, did you buy more SoFi today? I did not. No. No, I didn't buy anything today, to be honest. But I'm probably, what's going to happen probably tomorrow morning is me just completely selling out of the trade desk and keeping my money in, advertising spaces, because I still love that area, but either splitting. And by the way, TTD is a tiny, tiny, tiny percent of my portfolio. Probably doesn't even make up 1%. So splitting that money across Google and Amazon, something like that, on a 50-50 split, and just getting out of the trade desk. Whenever a company goes through one bad earnings report and sees a 30% drop off, a lot of the times that could be a catalyst to buy. Okay. Once you see 2 separate times or even 3 separate times where they have bad, like reports and then news that's coming out on top of that, it's just so sad. I mean, it's just, and by the way, they're still expensive. The PE ratio is really high to show that the growth that's expected going forward is, exciting. But yeah. Ever since the trade desk earnings, Tanner just hasn't been the same. Yeah, I know. It's been so freaking sad. Sell TTD, buy Zeta. Maybe that's the play. Maybe that's the play. The trade desk did not have a good earnings report, in my opinion. I mean, you can call those beats, but they were like in line at best. I mean, this company used to be a Wall Street darling, now growing at 19%, which is still good. But whenever you're pricing at 100+ PEs and people are expecting you to grow much further into the future, you need to show up that growth. And then, like you said, the guide was weak. So it just absolutely obliterated that. And that's on top of missing not last quarter, but the quarter before that. So, yeah. Nubank results, nothing. Gotta love it. Starboard released their 13F. Let's see if there's names in here. Increases in Salesforce. That's probably the most exciting part of this. And decreased in Mitch, in HR, in Riot, in Green Dot, in GoDaddy, and Wix. That's pretty interesting. But they did increase in Salesforce. I think that you're going to see a lot of that across the board. I mean, I don't think Salesforce is going anywhere too quickly, but the market has sold them off pretty aggressively. So I think that similar to UNH, you're going to see a large amount of increases like we have already from super investors in Salesforce. Whether that's in Q3 maybe, probably even a better deal, but I don't think it'll be too infrequent. By the way, that's the important part, that we have to remember that these are Q2 reports. Some people might even be out of those positions before, like whenever we're reading those reports, they still might not even have these positions. Are you interested in any other AI hardware names? There's some pretty interesting companies beyond NVIDIA and AMD. I'm personally, I don't think I am. No, I don't think I am. I hold NVIDIA and will probably be taking a stake in AMD after the rumored reports of a redesign for the Vera Rubin, which has happened before, where they've talked about these types of reports and they have turned out to not be true. So we'll see. But overall, I still think it's very bullish for AMD to have that sentiment behind it. Michael Burry also bought UNH, $115 million worth of shares and calls. Michael Burry's Scion Asset, well, I always called it Scion Capital, but I guess its actual name is Scion Asset Management, bought $115.4 million of UNH. That is very exciting. David Tepper, Michael Burry, and Warren Buffett all buying UNH. Let's take a look at the stock real quick, because that is probably, that is 9+% now. Had to switch over to Webull because Mumu is giving me problems. But yeah, pushing even higher. Just incredible. Wow. Congratulations to you guys if you have added a lot of super investor activity here. We'll have to see if that's increased even further into Q3. Let's see here. Open Door, Bill Ackman 2. Chris is happy right now. Oh yeah, Chris Patel is definitely happy right now. Of course, he loves to see this. There were a lot of people in retail that took positions in UNH. I personally didn't. I've never been a fan of healthcare. It's also hard for me to want to get into the healthcare space as like even a Canadian. Like it just, yeah, it's funny. But for the most part, I've done really well on playing AI names and financial tech names, always tech companies, but just in different industries. So yeah. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, it is the largest healthcare company in America, right? UNH. I don't think there is a bigger one. I could be wrong, but that's how little I know about the space. It's not my bread and butter, that's for sure. Let's check on Nubank again. Up. One of these days, I'm going to refresh this page and there's going to be numbers, but it's not right now. Jesus. Let's check if they are still on track to do a 5 p.m. call. Oh my gosh. If the call is at 6, I'm going to have a heart attack. I think the call might be at 6. I'm going to pull my hair out. I think maybe we change the title of this stream and call this a market close and go on about our day. If I don't get, I mean, what I will do is I'll stick around long enough to see their numbers. And if their numbers are, oh my gosh, exciting, and we get to see the earnings report, I'll stick around till 6 to then go all the way till 8 on their call. But yeah, crazy. That's a blunder on my part, but yeah. I don't like that, by the way. I started to see this where there's more companies actually reporting their calls at 6 o'clock. I saw Chime do that as well, and they're an American company, and I freaking hate it. Just honestly, I like the companies that do their call at 4:30. That's the best. Like, just show us the numbers, talk about it, go. Don't ditch us like Amit has. You can't leave us all alone. No, I'm here. I'm here. Saudi sold all their new today. That would suck too. If also going into the report, we see a bunch of super investors ditching their Nubank, that would make a person like me very sad. Stock's up 1%, so maybe we have seen. I mean, we saw this before, so I'm not going to get too excited just yet. But yeah, let's take a look at Michael Burry's full report here. His new buys are quite interesting. I don't mind this. Let's take a look. He has calls on UNH, Lulu. I also find really exciting. Meta, JD, Baba. He's always been into these Chinese names. I don't really care about them too much. ASML. And then at the bottom there, I also see Mercado Libre. Those are very exciting to me. Well, actually, I see Mercado Libre is 3,000 shares. So it's not too much. It's still $7 million, but it's not quite the $100+ million, $115 million bet that he has on UNH in shares and in calls, for which 109 million of that is in calls. Crazy. He's bullish right now. Dude's a bull. Meta, Lulu, ASML, UNH. This is a retail buyer right here. This looks like a retail account. Just a very big one. Today, this is the United States largest insurance company, which just announced a DOJ probe of fraud. Once in the world's largest company by market cap, the stock has fallen as much as 60%. Yeah, okay, I'm not worried about that. Nubank still up on or in after hours, but not moving too much. Let's see. Let's refresh the investor relations. Still nothing. Let's go to the Bloomberg accounts. Still nothing. Yeah. Matt Money has it on point right here. Tweeting out, waiting in Tanner's stream, waiting for Nubank numbers. Just sitting here, bro. Absolutely insane. Right, all the comments are right there with you, brother. Yeah. Which, by the way, I appreciate you guys being here. It's much more enjoyable with some people here. But yeah. The HIMSS news was old. That's new to me. I don't follow these healthcare names. But also, it's down 5% in the after hours, so I don't know how old it is. But let's keep looking. Oh, Chris Patel is starting to post about UNH right now. He said, I know everyone's excited about Warren Buffett buying UNH, but Michael Burry straight up degenning into it with calls. So he's noticing that as well. I know people are very excited if Buffett bought the dip on UNH, but I don't think it's in his wheelhouse at the moment. Remember what he always says, buy the companies as if the entire business was up for sale. I might be proven wrong, but with or without Buffett, this company is going to do great things in the future. Sir, you were wrong. Okay? Buffett said, actually, it's not even Buffett. It's, Greg Abel or whatever his name is. Am I right on that name, by the way? Did I get that 100% right? Greg Abel. Yeah, I did. Wow. Remembering my Berkshire knowledge. It's also being a growth investor in mostly tech. I like Warren Buffett a lot and follow Berkshire, but I'm not invested in any Berk A, Berk B type shares or anything like that. So I catch the shareholder meetings when I can. Like most of us, right? We dip in and out. UNH will be 300 tomorrow. I don't disagree with that at all. The amount of activity that we're seeing right now, I mean, at one point in the after hours, we hit 297.50. That's completely feasible. Now we're falling to 271, and it looks like we might also have more reports here. Buffett, Tepper, Burry, Renaissance Technologies. A lot of people adding UNH right now. And now Nubank earnings are expected to be out around 5 p.m. is the new report. That's not what it says on my thing. It said freaking 30 minutes ago, but that is sad. I would have went live. I would have went live around this point and saved myself an hour. Maybe my new computer would have been up. I wouldn't have had to disconnect this thing. Tanner's got a rant for one more hour. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty easy whenever you guys are asking a bunch of questions and putting up good comments and stuff, and new news is dropping. It's pretty easy. Bill Ackman's Pershing Square. Let's see what he just updated. This is a huge one. Holy. Pershing Square Capital. Bill Ackman, Uber still number one. Brookfield Capital, tiniest bit of an ad. Amazon ad, holy crap, 9.3% of his portfolio. Huge Amazon purchase. He ended up adding 20% to Google. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I completely get that. I've been adding a lot to the mega cap names. They just look like they're now I'm not saying anything's a guarantee, nothing's a guarantee in the market, but nothing has felt more like a guarantee in the market than big tech taking advantage of artificial intelligence in this next wave of technology. I mean, there's not a better buy right now. How many Square shares could a Canadian Square holder share? Okay. Yeah. Squeeze those cheeks, Tanner. I've never had a problem like that live streaming. For me, it's I chug bottles of like so much water a day that it's never me needing to squeeze the cheeks. It's always just too much water intake. But I probably need to refill this water as well. Let me see if I can get my girlfriend to refill this for me. 1 second. I'm going to try to pull some strings. You wouldn't believe, as I went to go give her my water bottle to be filled, she handed me a brand new black coffee. She's trying to get proposed to or something. That's insane. That is insane. I have a McDonald's coffee from today, and now we went to the Tim Hortons. So congratulations. If you guys didn't know where I was from, I've just doxed myself. Yeah, that's wifey material right now, and I can hear her filling up the water. A brand new coffee because I was sipping an older, slightly cold coffee. So she's refreshed the temperature on my caffeine addiction. She's watching the stream. I mean, I actually don't think she does. Dude, can we talk about the size of this Bill Ackman position in Amazon? It's actually incredible. Now, that's a Q2 purchase. Oh my gosh, we've got another one. Third Point ended up, oh my freaking gosh, these are huge purchases. $7.5 billion portfolio here. Remember, this is at the end of June 30th, okay? So things can change from then. Maybe a 93% add to NVIDIA in Q2 of 2025. You got to love it. Amazon added 15% now to $594 million. Capital One, huge. This swing is incredible, dude. Added 118% of Shark Ninja. Come on, guys. Bought into Meta. Bought into Workday, Rocket Companies. That's kind of interesting. The DocuSign thing surprises me. Here, wait, let's go back to the top. Sorry, I skipped through some things. I just saw Shark Ninja. It kind of took me by surprise. Trim 20% of semiconductor manufacturer, SMCI, or sorry, TSMC. Added Flutter, cut Live Nation here. One sec. Let me just collect my water. Here. Are you leaving now? Okay, love you. Okay, I'm back. Let's quickly see this really quick. So Live Nation actually trimmed. Brookfield Capital added 10% of. Vistra added 47%. Microsoft added, dude, these ads are insane. This guy's flipping his entire portfolio over. Oh my gosh. C Limited bought 0.11% of. Aurora Innovation. I actually didn't change that, but I'm just noticing. Bought into Service Titan, small percentage there. These are some of the companies that at least I personally care about. Apollo Global. I always find it interesting whenever asset managers buy asset managers like Brookfield or Apollo. Yeah. Laughing at Amit leaving. That's so funny. Okay. Oh, the water's cold too. This is mwah. It's a good day, man. I don't need Nubank to go up, but we should check on that. If it is at 5 o'clock, then I'm not expecting much. Howard Marks. Didn't we end up seeing this one yesterday? Did we see this one yesterday? I thought we did. Let me know if you guys already saw this one. I felt like we saw Howard Marks already. Added C Limited. Yeah, Buffett, Tepper, and Burry all added yesterday. Howard Marks was yesterday. Okay, thank you. That's what I thought. Carl Icahn. Yeah, I mean, he's been getting absolutely freaking destroyed. I like Carl Icahn because the whole beef like a really long time ago around what was that freaking MLM or Herbalife debate on the news with Bill Ackman. That was so much fun at the time, but Carl Icahn hasn't been doing so well over the last couple of years. It's been a little bit harder for him. Tiger Global, did we end up seeing this as well? Meta, adding to Meta, Microsoft, C Limited, huge position for them. Amazon Global, Amazon, Google, Nvidia, Take-Two Interactive, Eli Lilly, TSM, Flutter. These are like, this man's portfolio is just the S&P tech portfolio. Added 109% a block. What's going on with that? Added 20% to Zillow, 20% to AppLovin, 20% to Broadcom, 90% to Reddit. Not bad. Bought into Webull. Chris Patel probably called Chase Coleman up, told him to buy Webull. That's pretty interesting. Here, sorry, I was reading it on my own. Amit wants me to call him. He definitely didn't say a thing to me. Okay. He's probably still moving right now. Sorry, this is the one that I was looking at. Tiger Global, massive hedge fund, $34 billion. Nothing but, actually a big reduction in CrowdStrike, Workday, ServiceNow. What a well-timed trim of ServiceNow. That's incredible. DoorDash reduced by 99%. Yeah, I mean, the market cap on DoorDash has accelerated quite significantly. But I never realized that C Limited was such a massive part of their overall, hedge fund here. That's crazy to me. Wow. Okay. If Nubank's numbers are coming out at 5, then we have numbers here very, very shortly. But let's make sure that we're not missing any of these other ones. David Loeb's third point filed. We already covered that one. That was quite interesting. Supposedly the HIMSS news isn't news, but because they filed it on their, they filed an official statement. That's why the market is reacting the way that they're reacting. Chime in the after hours kind of running a little bit. HIMSS down 5%. Yeah. Okay. But let's get ready once again for the 5th time for Nubank earnings. Maybe this one time we'll actually see it. Everyone's piling into Amazon. I'm also piling into Amazon. I'm buying Amazon shares. I think that it's going to be the largest benefactor of all of the biggest trends. So they have cloud. They're the biggest name in cloud. They're not putting up the growth rates that Microsoft Azure or Google is putting up, but overall, they're still going to be one of the massive names here. On the other point of that, they benefit so greatly from artificial intelligence in their own internal company, helping with like deep fleet and route optimizations and employee efficiencies and productivity. All these things go to benefit Amazon. They've got, one of the largest employee counts in the world. They also have the most actual deployed robots today at over, what is it? Is it 800,000 or did they just pass 1 million? Did they pass 1 million? I think they did. I don't think I'm going crazy. I think the recent report was 1 million. And yes, that was true as of June 30th, 2025, deployed over 1 million robots and launches deep fleet. I think that is very exciting for them. The humanoid robot space, the artificial intelligence space, and the cloud space all coming together makes Amazon a very exciting buy. Plus the ad platform. Yeah, I mean, that's what's tearing down Trade Desk right now. So imagine Walmart ends up going to like, I mean, if Walmart went to Amazon, that would be insane. Like, talk about giving your competitors even more money through other purposes. But yeah. Nubank's call. Don't forget about Kuiper. Yeah, 100%. And this is only going to continue to happen where they have these products that people are, or that they can bundle with Prime that is not like there's no tech company that can come out and easily replicate that service. Maybe there will be some type of MVNO that ends up, or MVNO. Yeah, sorry, I didn't mess that up. That ends up coming out to work with the SpaceXs of the world and essentially buy licenses to have satellite offerings that they don't necessarily need to launch a rocket up into space. But being that layer one, that the company that actually owns the satellites in space, is such a capital intensive business that only the biggest companies in the world can compete with. So it really reduces, like, whenever you're talking about a moat, like a real moat, having satellites in space is a huge moat. Like, that is hard to replicate. Nubank is increasing here, but according to the report, their numbers still should not be out for another 2 minutes. Bill Ackman, as Amit just tweeted out, is acquiring so many shares of Google. That's the one thing that you have to sort of take away, I think, from this season of these 13Fs, is just because they're the Mag 7 and they're the biggest companies on earth does not mean that there's not more value in them going forward. Unlike other times of massive investment cycles in history, this is one of those times where the massive investment cycle has like we've seen it, but we're also seeing the revenue grow alongside it. This is not for future growth. The GPUs that are being deployed for artificial intelligence use cases are going immediately to work. They're plugging in the GPUs and they're running the next second, right? So the token generation is off the charts, the consumer demand's off the charts, the enterprise demand's off the charts, sovereign AI, everything. So yeah, that's very exciting. Amit is tweeting. I know it's not like he's I think he's still working, but or like working on setting up his house. But overall, he is putting out little updates. But we already covered that on Bill Ackman's 13F. We covered that in full. I think we did all the big ones that ended up coming out today. We saw Warren Buffett, Bill Ackman, David Tepper, Michael Burry, and I think the trends that you're seeing across the board is Google's a buy, Amazon's a buy, UNH is a buy. This is Q2 information though. Okay. So we've seen earnings reports. They could have switched these positions. That's the only problem here. But that they've changed those positions since then. Yeah. Okay. New numbers are out. It's 5 o'clock. Let's go digging. I'm going to I just refreshed the earnings results. I mean, there's nothing here. I don't know what people want me to do. We're up 1.33% in the after hours, which is exciting. But if we don't have numbers, we don't have numbers. There's nothing I can do, ladies and gentlemen. I'm doing my best here. Let's see if any Bloomberg accounts are starting to post about this. Nothing quite yet. I should also open up Fiscal AI, see if they end up posting anything pretty early as well. But I mean, I'm right in their website, so I think investor relations should be the quickest to release something. You would at least hope. Yeah. Okay, Nubank is still up 1.42%. We hope. We pray. When the title is new earnings, but there's no new earnings. Tanner, just post the numbers. We know you know them. That's not true. Nope. You'd be surprised. Many people don't know the numbers, but that was pretty. That was a pretty big shift in the price there. Let's see. It still is a LatAm company, so I don't think the volatility is going to be off the charts. But I'm expecting a bigger move than what we're seeing right now if the numbers do come out. I mean, I'm talking plus or minus 5%. Oh, that. Come on. Oh, what a tease. Let's also check my spreadsheets really quick to see if we can update numbers along the way for Q2 of 2025. I track so many numbers on Nubank. It's ridiculous. Like so many. Okay. Let's refresh really quick. Still nothing new. I mean, yeah, the volume is not looking so hot right now either. No. All right, let's see what else is going on in the financial world while we wait. Let's check UNH. Up 8% still. Not quite the 297 that we were seeing before, but 293, we could definitely open above $300 tomorrow. It's definitely in the cards for new investors to see that Warren Buffett is in now. Oh my gosh, yes. Someone on Twitter just asked what I think about the price to book on Nubank. I don't really think about it all that much. I mean, what's really important about Nubank as well, although they are a bank and they're a bank in Colombia and Mexico and Brazil, it's a lot of the other growth that they end up seeing where they don't have to be reliant on loan growth. So they're a really big player in the payment space. They're going to be a really big player in please. Yes. Okay. It looks like numbers are actually out now. We're not jumping up 4% for no reason. I think we actually have numbers. Oh my God. Please. Nubank earnings are out. Oh, it's right in line. It's perfectly in line. 13 cents, 3.66 billion or 367 billion in revenue. It's in line across the board. EPS up 30% year over year, revenue up 29% year over year. I've never seen a company be so in line in my life. In line on EPS, in line on revenue for Wall Street expectations. That is incredible. Let's get this report, though. The report is still not out on their website. Okay. But when it is, we can go through it and read all the numbers. What I'm going to do for the next hour? I don't know. I think we should get Steve involved. Maybe we can get Amit on the show. maybe we should, or we'll try to take in Nubank earnings at the start here. When they release, or I guess we can wait on that. Let's give Amit a call. Just got to make sure that his number doesn't get leaked here. I mean, up 7% is exciting. Amit, you're on stream.
So,
how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. Everyone's wanting to hear from you. Why are you not live?
Well, all right. So most people should know, but I have furniture getting delivered today at my new spot. So kind of the whole day it's just been impossible to go live or anything.
People are pissed because they see you tweeting, but they don't see your face.
Yeah, I love you guys. I appreciate it. It's actually quite humbling. I think it's been it's almost like 30, 40 messages I've gotten of just like, where are you? But I told everybody on the market open yesterday, really at like 9:30 when the market was opening. So like when most people were there, I told them what was happening. But I thought the furniture would come in the afternoon and ended up coming in the morning. So
everyone's saying on the stream,
be on my phone.
Everyone's saying on the stream that that this is not a myth, that I'm talking to someone else right now.
Dude, the other thing is I haven't been able to respond to a lot of messages because my phone, it's not broken, but it's like not charging. Like right now I'm talking to you, it's on 3% and it's like plugged in, but it's like not going above 5%. And so I'm going to the Apple store right now in New York and I'm just getting a new phone because I don't know what happened today. But yeah, it's been hard to like do anything all day, but I've been able to get some tweets out.
So if people wanted a picture with you and an autograph, they'd go to the Apple store in New York.
Dude, by the way, I haven't been able to say this because I'm not live, but I fucking degened into Nubank. I bought like 300 shares at the close. So I haven't done anything because I don't have the earnings yet, but...
The stock's up 7%.
Yeah. Okay, I bought it at 11.93. So what's the stock right now?
12.86.
I should sell it right now. Thank you for letting me know that. Wait, should I sell it, Tanner? What do I do?
Bro, I haven't seen the numbers. I'm refreshing. I don't see a thing.
How is it up 7%? You haven't seen the numbers.
Well, I saw their EPS and revenue, and they're both exactly in line. I've never seen that before. 13 cents of EPS, exactly in line, and 3.67 billion, exactly in line.
Dude, my Wi-Fi has been horrible. My phone's basically dead all day. I somehow managed to put in the order to buy the shares. I don't know when I'm going to be able to sell it. I can't even open Robinhood right now. But if you're telling me it's a good earnings, then I'm going to hold on.
I mean, you might want to sell. I don't know, dude. I haven't seen the numbers. It's starting to go down.
No. You're the fintech guy. You just told me not to sell, so I'm going to listen to you, and you're going to take responsibility for this one.
No. This. Come on, you're not doing my disclosures any favors. This is all for entertainment. Oh, dude, I think he just disconnected. I think he did just disconnect. Maybe his phone just died. Amit and I have some pretty interesting stuff coming up, though, in the next little bit. Let's see if he ends up getting back to me, but his phone just might seriously be dead. I've never met anyone that loves his job as much as Amit does. The dude's a true gem. You gotta love someone who is just in love with the game. And it's great, man. I'm glad we connected. I'm glad we connected over such a great game like the market is. But let's see. Nubank. Okay, we have some things here. We have some information. Nubank added 4.1 million new customers in Q2 of 2025, a 17% increase year over year, reaching a total of 122.7 million customers globally. 122.7 million. They're a freaking bank. The expansion reinforces Nu's position as one of the largest and fastest growing digital financial services platforms. And in Brazil, Nu is the third largest financial institution by number of customers, but the largest in terms of fintech. Engagement and activity rates. Monthly average revenue per active customer crossed the $12 mark for the first time, reaching $12.2 in Q2 of 2025, up 18% on a FX neutral basis, and $27.3 for customers with over 8 years on the platform, meaning the longer people stay on the platform, the more money they end up making. And the monthly activity rate on that is 83.2%. Now, whenever we get the report, this is another very important thing to highlight from Nubank, is that they've never actually taken a dip. We do have the presentation. Okay, finally the stream starts. Holy freaking crap. That was a nice hour and 30 minutes of, well, honestly, we got saved by the 13Fs, which was something that I actually did care about. But let's take a quick peek-see here. David Velez, let's go. Why isn't it loading? Okay, this is an all brand new report, by the way. This is not how they usually show it off. This is probably their new IR team. So really excited to see that. Their efficiency ratio now at 28%, the lowest. Well, actually, I don't know if that's as low as it was last quarter, but still one of the lowest fintechs in the entire world. So that's absolutely insane. Customer count continues to grow. The activity rate on those customers is also staying extremely high. Look at the percentage of adult population. You guys might not be able to see that. It looks a little small. Let's see if I can blow this up really quick. I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to... Why doesn't that work, bro? Is control... Is F11 not full screen? How do you full screen? Okay, there it goes. It just wasn't working. What is this? Why won't it go bigger? Why is it doing this? It's like, what is going on? For some reason, I'm blaming this on my computer too. I'm just trying to give you guys the biggest view possible. Stock up 7.5% to $12.92. Okay, this should work. Let's see if I share my screen. Boom! There we go. That's beautiful. Adult population. This is their customer percentages. We're at 60% of the Brazilian population uses Nubank, 13% of Mexico, and 9% of Colombia. Okay. Average revenue per active customer continues to climb. And one of the things that they've said about this is the reason why it's actually not climbing faster is the growth in Mexico and Colombia is so fast that it's holding down their actual average revenue per customer in Brazil alone. But this is a new presentation, so we might end up getting to see a lot of great information. Compounded annual growth rates on revenue over the last 5 years has been 85%. And we've hit a brand new high on revenue and gross profit as well. Net income also growing quite severely. Let's see what else here. Multi-product. So active credit card customers now have 55 million. Active transaction financing customers, 21.4 million. Unsecured loans, 13.6. So that's personal loans. Secured loans, which is their payroll loans, 6.8% or 6.8 million, up 158%. Yeah, crypto customers, 6.6 million, up 41%. Wow, crypto, I didn't even listen to that. Crypto customers, 6.6 million. That was so much lower before. 41% year over year doesn't even make any sense to me. Okay, great. That's good. I love this presentation. Gotta love this, man. I don't know if this is the computer, if this is Nubank. If it's Nubank, I'm going to sell. I'm beside myself right now. Multi-segment, high-income customers up 13% year over year. Super core customers up 14%. So super core for people is like they have their base, which is core, super core, and then high end is above that. So super core is the middle. Think of like mid to high net worth, and then high income is high income. Mexico credit card customers up 52%. Colombia credit card customers up 34%. This is a great breakdown. This gives investors so much great detail. Mass market customers, that's what they call their core customers here. Yes, they have been changing their C-suite a lot right now. Eric Young just got announced yesterday. New chief technology officer, new chief design officer, new head of public policy. There's a new everything right now. So the whole company's getting flipped upside down, and that was because David Velez said they need to go a complete other direction to get to the next stage of growth. Cost of serve on customers continues to stay flat to falling. If you guys can't see, if the chat's in the way, that's how much their cost to serve is, 80 cents. Okay. And then whenever they pay out that 80 cents, they get $12.20 back per customer. By the way, they have some of the lowest customer acquisition costs in the entire world. There's a bunch of companies that talk about having a low customer acquisition cost, like Cash App or Venmo or these types of ones. But whenever you actually look at the sales and marketing and break it down versus how much they're growing, it's nothing like Nubank. Nubank is actually cheap. Loan portfolio expanding, total originations expanding. Actually, total originations on FX neutral basis down 1%. That's interesting. There will be a lot of commentary about that on the call we'll have to listen to. Sorry, I just skipped ahead a lot there. Credit cards. Let's see where the percentage of install base right here. Install balance is 29%. That's still growing. Wow. Deposits on Colombia ended up growing on an FX neutral basis overall, quarter over quarter up 10%. And cost of deposits at 91% now. That's accelerated, actually. That's quite a little piece to keep an eye on. If that keeps going back up, the highest we've ever seen Nubank at was 94%, I think. And then that ended up falling down to the mid 80s and then has climbed up ever since. It's not a good sign. You want that to be lower, but if they have to pay for deposits, it could mean that competition is rising, or maybe they're just being generous. What a massive increase on net interest margin here. That's insane. Let's just skip through because I want to see how long this thing is. So on a quarter over quarter basis, 15 to 90 day NPLs in Brazil has decreased. 90 days on quarter over quarter staying roughly flat. But what does it look like for all your portfolios? Why are you only showing Brazil here? Do they not show delinquencies for all geographies? Stock still up 7%. Every time I find something that might be a little bit in a gray area, I'm looking up at the stock being like, does everyone else see this? I just want to make sure that we're not seeing a reaction in the stock. Gross profit margin, a little bit of a tick up here. Very nice to see. And so this is interesting, right? We saw such a boost because of US dollar weakening this quarter, but also still 14% growth on an FX neutral basis. Just quarter over quarter. Very cool. Yeah, great breakdown here. I love this. Wow. 30% fees, 27% float, and the rest in credit. That's awesome. Efficiency ratio, yeah, it did bounce off. Okay, that's what I thought. Quarter over quarter, this was not the lowest that they've ever seen, but still unbelievably low, and you're not going to find any other fintech or bank that's even remotely close to this number. So that's incredible. 28% net income margin. Sweet. 31 on an adjusted net income basis. Or sorry, return on equity, 31%. Okay, Mexico here. Let's look at Mexico only. Finally, we have a breakdown on this because they're large enough. Wait a second. Okay, wait. If we go back to the top, they said accounts grew. Oh, maybe they're showing this off from year over year. But I thought new accounts grew by 4.4 million, right? But maybe that was quarter over quarter. Okay, so I just wanted to make sure that potentially Mexico is not growing more than 4.4 million, and we're somehow losing other people on the back end of somewhere else. But no, this is year over year. Quarter over quarter, we grew by 4.4 million. I'll have to bust out my own charts later, but yeah. Number of credit card customers, market share now at 9%. Or sorry. Market share at 9%. Market share of growth in the last 12 months is 28%. That's insane. So out of all the new credit card signings in the last 12 months, they made up for 28% of that. You know? That's incredible. They are an unbelievable giant. It's just whether or not building our deposit franchise. By the way, Amit says, okay, I'm holding this quarter. Seems great. I mean, every quarter on Nubank is unbelievable. It's just a matter of if you're willing to spend $60 billion for this type of growth. It's also a matter of like, okay, so whenever Mexico starts to get to a place of maturity, by the way, much faster than Brazil ever took to get to these levels, and they're adding 28% of all new credit cards come from one single new entrant that came a couple of years ago. That's insane, right? But then can they do that in Colombia? Can they do that in Chile? Can they do that in Peru? Can they do that in Argentina? And if they can, well, then you have a serious business here. Okay. What I would like to see is that the growth on users continues to climb, though, or it like, I know it did. It grew by 4.4 million customers, but we've seen Nubank grow at 6 million customers a quarter back whenever they didn't have this many members. So they are facing levels of like having troubles growing because they're such a mature business. That would be the problem. Our deposit base grew to 3% of the market share, but out of the 14% of moves in, deposits, Nubank took, out of all the deposits, Nubank took 14% of the new deposits. That's insane. Same thing with their interest earning portfolio as well, IEP. Okay, wow. Capital ratios lowering. Not the greatest sign, but still they're like 3x subscribed. So you're good. But still something to look out for. I mean, honestly, if you're going from 33% to 32% year over year, maybe that's not even something that you need to look out for. Like you're still 3x subscribed. If you look at any US bank or anything like this, the amount you're holding to is like, okay, the minimum is 10%. We're going to hold it at 15. They're saying, hey, the minimum is 10%. We're going to hold it at 32%. That's insane. You're keeping such a massive buffer and you're not, you don't have too much leverage on your growth, which means there's still possibilities for them to lever up to accelerate growth as well. Let's see here. Brazil only credit portfolio. Why are you only showing your Brazilian only credit portfolio here? I want to see a little bit of how they're performing on credit for Mexico. Obviously, they're writing a lot of credit. They're increasing their interest-only portfolio, and it does make up for a small percentage of the outstanding credit that they do hold. So I also understand that it's probably not that important either. But still, I would like to see. I love that they're telling us how many customers that they actually have in these different products as well. Different customer counts. We've never seen that breakdown before. But I am still surprised by these numbers because one of the things that Nubank had said previously is that their main objective in 2024 was to not just grow in mass market customers, but to grow even faster on high income customers, which I remember it saying at the end of 2024 was something along the lines of 70% growth. So maybe they were actively pushing into that market, and now that's slowed down to 13%. Because the comps are so freaking hard to continue to build on. But I don't know. We also don't know what the breakdown of like how many actual customers can they go after in this market. That would be exciting to see. Let's give Amit another call and we will see his opinion on this really quickly. I mean, he just bought it going into the close. You think Amit's becoming a little bit of a little trader, a little bit? Little degen action? Hi, I live in Colombia and my girlfriend says she has an account here and they steal money from her account. Okay. Report that to the authorities if you think that that's true. But from the insane NPS scores, I'm calling her bluff. Good luck with that. They're the largest fintech outside of Asia, supporting 120 million customers, and no one has found out. By the way, the fastest growing bank of any of them in those geographies. But that guy's girlfriend has found out that they are stealing money from her account. Like in dollars or like in pennies? Your girlfriend is spending money and lying about it. Yeah. Sounds like a shopping. Yeah. Can you imagine babe, you got paid the other day. Like you should have money for this. It's like, no, Nubank's been stealing my money. Yeah. But also, even though there's tons of different options here, I'm not going to use any of them. I'm going to continue to use Nubank, but they're stealing my money. Did your wife also bring you Timbits along with your black coffee? No, I can't eat that stuff. Just black coffee. I'm looking at her account right now. And what does it say? Does it say like it's down? Like how do they take money from her? Does it say like -$2 Nubank's cut? Or like thanks for playing? Yeah. Like how would you see that the account is down? Out of all of the accounts in Latin America that charge you rates for having money in those accounts, the free cost of Nubank, and by the way, look at this. Let's go to cost of deposits as a percentage of interbank rate. Now, essentially what that means is their Fed funds rate, let's say, I don't know what Colombia's would be at, but I would assume it would be pretty high. Colombia interbank rate. 9.25%. Okay, so they're giving their customers 0.91%, 91% of 9.25%. Let's just say they give 9% on their deposits. Guys, here in the States, we get 4% if you're with the best of the best neobanks. Colombia gives 9%. But that guy's wife her account's getting drained by more than 9% a year somehow. Here in the please let me in. Please, dude. Stock is actually climbing here. Up 8.16%. I'm going to see if I can find anything more in their press release. They're also the best company in the world because they also release an entire spreadsheet of all of their numbers as well. So if you guys are spreadsheet nerds like me and want a company that does all of the numbers for you, boy, oh boy, is it amazing to have a company that lets you take all this information. You can just copy all of this and then add your own formulas to find out what you would see for customer acquisition cost or, information like this, right? So, but in terms of all the numbers that you need, it's all here. Let's actually see if they've made any changes. So they used to have managerial indicators, average revenue per active customer, cost to serve. I was like, wait, this is Q1. Cost to serve, interest earning portfolio. No, I mean, they kept it pretty much the same. The only problem that I always have with this, whenever you look at these numbers, they'll show you active customer accounts and then all of the numbers for all of the product lines that they have. But then it literally says here, Brazil only. Why? Well, I want to know what Mexico's numbers are. Show me Colombia's numbers. So that is a little weird. We also see a slight decrease. Actually, well, I mean, not that slight. This is 300,000 accounts down on their credit cards. Maybe some risky borrowers that they had to cut off. Unsecured credit or unsecured lending. Here, wait. Amit is also calling back. Let's switch over to the stock and get his opinion here. Brother.
Yo, you're still alive, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, dude. Do I sound good? Is the mic weird? I'm in the lift, but it should be okay.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, cool. Yeah, dude, this was a great quarter. I'm holding the stock. It's great.
Stock's up to $13. I mean,
well, there you go.
Yeah. I've been covering this company and trying to get you involved for a long time, bro.
No, I know, and that's another reason I bought it at the close. It was down. I was like, I know Tanner's bullish on this, and I know they've had a kind of crappy year. So I was like, if they just have any decent results in this market, they should get a little bit of love.
Are you worried about the Brazilian market with Trump in office?
Bro, I don't even know what that means for Nubank. Like, I know it's bad because of the tariffs and stuff, but the quarter that I saw on your stream is they're growing like crazy. So maybe that's probably a headwind, but it's not a thesis breaker long term, right? At least I don't think so.
Not long term, no, definitely not. Especially if they start to get accounts in the US, which I think will happen soon. And if Trump gets more, activity in the States, I think that he will like those companies a lot more. I don't know if he actually will prefer that or not, because maybe that will mean that, some U.S. citizens might end up banking with a Brazilian company. Maybe he actually doesn't like that. But,
bro, but what I heard you said is 28% of all the credit cards were from Nubank. That's crazy.
Of newly written credit cards in Mexico.
That is crazy, dude. I did not know they were this big of a force in Latin America.
Bro, 60% of the adult population in Brazil works with Nubank. 60% of the population.
You mean when works, you mean not employees, but you mean banks?
Banks has credit with. So the problem with saying banks is that it doesn't necessarily, they could have a credit card out with them. They could have a loan with them, but in some form or another has a relationship with Nubank.
Yeah. Yeah, that's wild, bro.
Yeah, and
That's
now
wild.
Colombia is like their newest ad, which they've added just in the last couple of years, and already 9% of the population deals with them. Like,
Yeah, I mean, like all time highs was 16, a pop to 16 by the end of the year. I don't think that's crazy to imagine. At least 14, 15.
in a good macro, this is a $20 stock.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Oh, this is good for your portfolio too. This is in your port, for the stock draft.
Yeah, it's in my stock draft. It's a huge name in my actual portfolio. I think it's a top 5 name for me now.
You started buying it like $3, so you've been in it for a minute.
Yeah, I think my average right now is in the 7s, but sorry, I'd have to check that. But yeah, I've been a heavy buyer. The first buy was 381, but I didn't buy enough. That's the only problem. Is it was sort of invest then investigate, and I didn't even realize how good of a buy I had it until later, and then I was acquiring at much higher levels. But that's the only problem.
It's 13-12, baby. Let's go. Let's go. Not bad. Dude, UNH, that's the new Wall Street darling.
Crazy, bro. And dude, the amount of activity on Google and Amazon and Nvidia is also crazy as well. Like, people are buying Mag 7s right now. It's nuts.
Yeah, I think this. I mean, so Bill Ackman added. So the Bill Ackman 5 million Amazon stake is not a new stake. He said it. He added it in Q1. I think it was like the day after Q1 ended. So he already announced it. That's not new. But still, the fact that he did 5 million of Amazon is awesome. Another million of Google like shares that he added is incredible. And then Nvidia, as you said, Nvidia, Amazon, Google, and UNH are the top 4. So I think the market's leaning into quality, and quality is big tech, and big tech's winning. It doesn't seem like PPI is going to interrupt that.
Yeah. No, I'm I'm still remaining very bullish on the Mag 7 names, so that's very exciting. But I mean, hey. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was saying Reddit also got bought up. Like a lot of these high beta growth names. Like this is a growth market, and people are buying growth. Like, I mean, UNH is the super big, deep value play, but still, growth is like, if you can grow in this market, you can get a bid. And people are finding the capital to allocate to growth stocks right now.
I think we have to remember that like Q2 was a very important time in the markets, and that a lot of these names that we're end up seeing on these 13Fs, they might not even be holding anymore. Like,
that is true. That is also true. Yeah.
You know, Reddit had an amazing quarter, but the stock has improved so much in the last 3 months that I wouldn't be surprised if we also saw some changing in their portfolio as well, taking advantages of some of these high rips.
Also, Q2 did include April, so
yeah, no, exactly. Like this is like look at Robinhood and you go, hey, we did buybacks in Q2 at $41 a share. It's like, what? How? Like, that was a price in Q2? And then you have to remember, like, oh my God, yeah, it was. Like,
dude, those July metrics were really good. I don't know if we can replicate it in September, but in August, I think there's a chance to get kind of close to it. If we do, Q3 is going to be over $1 billion. Like, it's going to be wild.
Honestly, just based on the July numbers, I think we clear $1 billion. I don't mean just based on July, but we need to have bad months now, and August isn't showing that right now. So it's a very good sign so far. Congratulations on your swing trade on Nvidia or on Nubank. I mean, that's incredible.
Well, I haven't sold it yet, so I haven't taken any profits, but yeah, it's honestly because of you, bro. I saw it was like 3:35 p.m. and I was like, doesn't Tanner like this thing? Don't think of earnings. It's down 4%. I'm just gonna buy something. So
I was getting worried this quarter, man. I don't like how much Brazil is in the bad marks of the US. Now, they don't deal with a lot of those things, but if the Brazilian consumer has to pay those tariffs, and then those like Nubank has to deal with those consumers, like, I don't know, it all trickles down, right? Finance gets hit with anything money. So I just yeah.
Do you like these guys over SoFi or not at these valuations?
I'm acquiring SoFi right now and not Nubank, but there was a very long period of time where I was buying Nubank over SoFi. I mean, we could go through the history on YouTube and see the swings on how bullish I got on Nubank. It was crazy. But
yeah, because their growth was just way better than SoFi's for the past.
Yeah, like it was like triple and margin. But there are signs that Nubank is becoming a more mature business, and the amount that they are turning over their C-suite right now is scary, bro. Like you have people that have been there since the company's inception that are leaving, and they're putting in new people as, you know, chief engineer, like chief technology officers and stuff like this. It's like, we don't know how these people are going to perform. So I trust in David Velez. He has not left. So I'm still very bullish, but we have got a new chief design officer, new chief technology officer, new head of public policy, like all in the last 3 months. Those are huge names in a very short period of time. New investor relations officer. I don't know. It's a lot in a 3-month period.
Well, they're growing. I mean, this market, I mean, you do the craziest thing about today is that PPI number was not pretty. I mean, that was the worst since 2022 after a good CPI. And I think the S&P was down like 80 cents today. Like, it is incredible how much this buy the dip argument continues to work. Like people that are waiting for some dramatic decline, the big guys aren't doing it. The institutionals aren't doing it. Retail's ready to buy the dip. PPI's not. I mean, PPI can trigger the algos, but the algos become a buying opportunity. Do you think that feels toppy, or do you think that just means earnings growth is more important than inflation?
I mean, I haven't even given it too much thought today. It's been a pretty busy day. So, but what I would think is that earnings right now this season, I don't know if I would consider this a top. I think there's too many technological tailwinds right now. But to be honest, I haven't given it much thought. I've kind of been out of the markets for the most part today, unfortunately.
So for the past hour, you covered the 13Fs then, right? That's basically what you're doing?
Yeah.
Wow, that must have been fun then. All of it coming at once. That's a fun time to be live. I think I think that happened in May, and I was live. I was live for like 2.5 hours, just seeing what the big guys bought.
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I've been focused on. And honestly, I thought Nubank was going to report earnings an hour earlier, so I've had to fill some time here. So I appreciate the call. I'm loving it.
Dude, what if one day you're running a fund and you're a super investor? It's like Tanner Mansion reports 45% increase in blah blah blah. Like, don't you think that would be crazy one day?
Did you call me Tanner Mansion?
No, Manson.
Oh, okay. Anyone else here, Tanner Mansion?
So. My H are not good. But do you have any desire to like be up there one day, like manage $1 billion and be a super investor?
I don't know what I'll want to do when I'm 50, but right now this is exactly what I want to do, and I don't want to change a thing. Yeah, I can't even think about that. I don't want to do that right now, but life is long.
I just think it's a lot of pressure to manage that. I mean, to be that public with other people's money, it's not easy.
Yeah,
but it would be cool because if you're right, I mean, you're right. You know.
Yeah. So, bro, hurry up, finish your move. Invite me out. Let's do an in-person podcast. And yeah, man.
Dude, you should come in September. There's a couple people coming in September. Arnie, Matt. I mean, I don't know if you're free a certain week, but I'll give you some details, and if you are, you can definitely come down. And if not, you can come down whenever. But you're only a couple hours away. You're a flight away. So
well, I am. I don't know when your thing is in September, but we are going somewhere in September. Are you flying back right after? Because I could go after that or something like this.
We meaning you and your girl?
No, me and you from where I'm trying not to talk about where we're going. We're going somewhere.
Everyone knows. Why are you? Everyone knows where we're going. What are you talking about? Everyone knows.
Well, no, I haven't told anyone I'm going.
then you should make a breaking news announcement right now and tell everyone where you're going. It's a month away, less than a month away.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'll be at the Robin Hood event.
Ooh, yes, sir.
Yeah.
We're going to go play blackjack in Vegas, and we're going to liquidate Tanner's Nubank stock, and we're going to put it into blackjack, and we're going to double his money, and then we're going to buy back Nubank. That's what we're doing.
I mean,
that is the goal.
I could think about it. I personally do not like Vegas at all. I'm not a gambler. I'm not a drinker. I'm not even that much of a partier. I just like Vegas is like the Sin City, and I don't I don't participate in enough vices to care about that city all that much. So
well, we should definitely do a little bit of gambling just for fun. You know, even if it's like a couple $100 just to
bro,
get the feel of it. But I think you went to Vegas before.
For real, I'm not going to. And I'm sorry, but I
more fun. Great.
Yeah. I don't want to like it. I think that's not something I want to get into.
Well, I mean, after Vegas, have you bought your tickets yet or no?
No.
Okay, I mean, dude, if you want after Vegas, we can both fly to New York and
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Trip for a couple days.
Yeah. Why don't I just fly to Vegas and then fly to New Jersey?
Yeah, I think let's plan that out. That'd be actually really fun to do that.
Okay, cool.
That would work.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, I'll talk with you later then, brother. I was going to make a joke about you paying for my flight with your Palantir shares, but I think I've overdone that enough.
All right. Well, you know, NVIDIA, I don't know. But that should be, that's always my retort to you. Like, dude, you're fucking 2018 NVIDIA. Like, that's not bad. All right, man. I'll talk to you later. I got to go get a new iPhone. So, talk in a bit.
Cool, man. Peace. Is Tanner bringing his girlfriend? Nope. It's a business trip. We're going with the boys. But yeah, I think the hope is that we're going to try to just get one massive place to book out. Amit, myself, a couple of other people as well, and get like a really nice place in Vegas to enjoy. And then that way we could just fly back to New Jersey in that way. Will I vlog it? I do have a lot of vlogging gear, surprisingly, like lav mics and like those DJI Osmo Pocket 3 whatever cameras. But I wasn't honestly planning on it. Maybe I will. I just hate being the guy that's holding his hand out with a camera, but I also understand like it's kind of my job, so I should just do it anyway. You guys are funny. The Donald Sanders, by the way, are you the dude who helped me pick out some of my tech for my new computer? Because if you are, I appreciate it. I just officially went and picked up my new PC, so that is in the books now. Lester, please bet this on a game that catches your eye. If you win, then buy Hood, or if you decide not to, buy Hood with this. I will buy Hood with this. I'm not, honestly, I'm not going to gamble in my life. I don't care about it. I don't want to like it. I don't want to catch wins. I don't want to catch losses. There was one time where I had like I think it was like my 18th birthday or something like this, and someone bought a bunch of scratch off tickets for me because I was just of age to scratch the tickets. And I remember scratching them all, and they all came out negative and like no wins or whatever. And I remember being like, oh, okay, thank God. Like I did not want to win at all. It feels stupid, but we kind of want the vid. I honestly, man, I know it sounds silly. I know this sounds so nerdy, but the Hood events are so much fun. Like, we have to, like you're just going out to cover the company, cover the new products, and that's whatever. But then you're also surrounded by a bunch of insane active trading type customers who all have differing opinions on what they think is the right strategy, the right stock. I don't know. Catch Vlad maybe at a party with a couple drinks in them. It's a great time. Like it's awesome. I'm not even saying Vlad drinks. I'm just saying like potentially this happened. I don't know. I don't know. I'll try to get something on camera. Maybe. I don't know. I like the idea of getting that footage, but actually recording it is another story. And I'm honestly not that. It's just so cringy to walk around with a recording device in your hand. If you get insider information, please let us know. Dude, he's surrounded. Like everything that Vlad says is immediately like on guard by people that he's surrounded with. So 100%, there's zero insider information going around. They don't leak a thing. That's the same with every single company that I've interacted with. Like they take that stuff so seriously. Take the Meta glasses. If they set it up to a point where I can live stream from those glasses, I'll do the whole event live stream. I'll live stream for, well, need to figure out how you can pause it during like bathroom breaks, I guess. Yeah, that would be a great time, is to just have glasses on and just people are experiencing the event as I would experience it. Leave the damn cameras at home, bro, and exist in the real world for a weekend. That's that sounds like what I'm going to have to end up doing. But brother, like, I don't know. It sounds crazy, but this community that we've built online is very real people, you know? Whenever you do a meetup like we did in Toronto and there's 100 people that know you and know the call, like sometimes people disconnect internet from the real world too much, but like this, I am connecting with real people right now. This is not just numbers on a screen. And you definitely see that, like whenever you go to the Robinhood event, or whenever I'm going to go to this Robinhood event, there will be people there that watch the stream. Maybe some people in here are also going. It's not invite only, I don't think, but I think it is like to buy access into it, I think costs a little bit. But the ticket overall, I think, is just to random customers. Like Amit's ticket was just completely random. He was just one customer. Mine was a little bit different because I'm in Canada and cannot be a customer. But aside from that, they're not covering my flight or hotels or anything like this. They're just inviting me out. They're just letting me through the door. Okay. The call for Nubank is coming up. I don't know if we should listen to the Zoom or we should just listen to it through Earnings Hub. I'm leaning more towards Earnings Hub because the audio has been really good lately. It's been laggy from time to time, but at least we get to see the price and the stock at the same time. That does entice me. But setting it up sometimes has been a little bit weird from time to time. Tanner, I'm going and I'm not a hood bull. Maybe it can change me. I'll see you there. That's super awesome. Hymns should sell. I am down so much. I mean, that's personally up to you. I think this is why I always lean back on fundamentally understanding the companies that you're holding. Is if you rely on me to tell you what to do with that stock, let's say if I did even, then you're borrowing my conviction on a name, and then you require me to tell you if you're going to continue to hold or if you should sell that name going forward. The truth is that, one, I don't know that name, but you should be telling me if you're going to hold or sell. Tanner, do you think that we'll see an overall market pullback by the end of the year? Absolutely possible, Jacob. It's just whether or not it bears any fruit, and meaning like, why is that pullback even the case? And then people who are searching for that 10% pullback over the last, I even heard this on another podcast where they're talking about this fund that's up like 45%. They're like, oh yeah, just wait for what that fund does whenever it's down 10%. It's like, what? Like, you're chasing, or you're worried about this 10% pullback or 15% pullback constantly, but potentially worried about this dip. You're missing out on insane gains in other areas. So I remain overall fully invested. I have some income funds that I want to rotate out of, equity income fund, like income strategy funds, like JEPQ and stuff like that, that I have that I can rotate out of, that I treat as cash, essentially cash generation, to put towards equities that I think are going to rip. I still have probably about, I don't know, 6% of my portfolio in those types of names that I'm going to use as cash if we do see a dip, but that's essentially it. Yeah, missing a 20% gain to buy a 5% dip. I think people fall into that trap way too often. Buffett bought UNH. Yes, we covered all of the large names and what they ended up buying. We saw a lot of names buying Google, Amazon, UNH. These were exciting 13Fs. But we have the Nubank call starting in about 2 minutes. So that should be very exciting. Let's see here. This account ended up putting in the amount of new positions based on 38 fund managers. I don't know the accuracy of this, but let's assume that this is correct. If that is the case, let me actually make this a lot bigger. But you saw it was from Vivek S. UNH, by far the largest acquired stock at 2.2 billion. And Amazon underneath that. Let's see what else really entices me. Chime here. Wow. 430 million of Chime, even higher than Meta, Wix, Seagate, Nvidia. Wow. A lot of funds buying Nvidia, but not large dollar amounts. 293 million. Yeah, I guess whatever Buffett touches ends up being at the top there, regardless, just based on the aggregate dollar amount. Let me turn that light down really quick. Got to rest these eyes, man. Yeah, Wix. Yeah, I know, right? I definitely did see Wix pop up in some of these reports. So I mean, that is true. Or I wouldn't be surprised if I ended up seeing that, because we did see a few large holders end up buying Wix. Okay, call should be starting soon. I think I'm going to lean on. Okay, perfect. Let's get this up. Okay, we have the call, but there's no sound on it just yet. And sorry, Earnings Hub can be a little bit glitchy with this. I'm trying to get the price and the call up at the same time, which has proved to be harder. Okay, so we have the call ready to go. We're also the stock, or at least I'm going to try to get the stock up as well. Yes, there we go. Oh, come on. Sorry, still setting it up. Here we go. That's what I want. Okay, we got a really good setup here. Okay, so whenever the call starts, right now I'm just hearing music. Sorry if the audio is a little bit poor. That's usually happens whenever I'm listening to audio but not sharing it. But I'm just making sure that we get the call whenever it starts. And okay, it started. Let's go. Let's
Today's webcast, which is available on Nu's Investor Relations website, www.nu in English and www.investidores.nu in Portuguese. This conference is being recorded and the replay can also be accessed on the company's IR website. This call is also available in Portuguese. To access, press the globe icon on the lower right side of your Zoom screen, then select the Portuguese room. After that, select Mute Original Audio. Para acessar nossa conferência em português, clique no ícone do globo ao lado inferior direito da sua tela Zoom e selecione a opção Portuguese Room. Ao acessar a nova sala, certifique-se de mutar o áudio original. Please be advised that all participants will be in a listen-only mode. You may submit online questions at any time today using the Q&A box on the webcast. I would now like to turn the call over to Mr. Guilherme Souto, Investor Relations Officer at Nu Holdings. Mr. Souto, you may proceed.
Thank you, operator, and thank you everyone for joining the earnings call today. If you have not seen the earnings release already, a copy is posted in the Investor Relations website. With me on today's call are David Vélez, our founder, Chief Executive Officer and Chairman, and Guilherme Lago, our Chief Financial Officer. Throughout this conference call, we'll be presenting non-IFRS financial information, including adjusted net income. These are important financial measures for Nu Holdings, but are not financial measures as defined by IFRS, and may not be comparable to similar measures from other companies. Reconciliations of the non-IFRS to the IFRS financial information are available in the earnings press release. Unless noted otherwise, all growth rates are on a year-over-year FX neutral basis. I would also like to remind everyone that today's discussion might include forward-looking statements, which are not guarantees of future performance, and therefore you should not put undue reliance on them. These statements are subject to numerous risks and uncertainties, and could cause actual results to differ materially from our expectations. Please refer to the forward-looking statements disclosure in the earnings release. I will now turn the call over to David. Please go ahead, David.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. In Q2 2025, we delivered another quarter of strong growth as we continue to strengthen our position as the leading digital bank in Latin America and one of the leading financial technology platforms in the world. Our customer base expanding to nearly 123 million customers with over 4.1 million net additions, all while maintaining an activity rate above 83%, underscoring the depth of engagement across our platform. In Mexico, we surpassed 12 million customers, now serving approximately 13% of the adult population. And in Colombia, nearly 10% of the population is already choosing Nu as their financial partner. The combination of sustained customer growth and a 34% RPAC CAGR since 2021 has created a powerful compounding effect, driving revenues to $3.7 billion in Q2, representing an 85% annualized growth rate since 2021. Gross profit has risen 78% annually, reaching $1.5 billion, as we capture the benefits of scale, cutting our efficiency ratio by more than half to 28.3% in Q2 2025. Quarterly net income has almost tripled in the past 2 years to $637 million. These results come despite our ongoing investments in growth and, most importantly, in keeping our customers loving us fanatically. And we will continue to invest with focus and intention. This performance reinforces a key message. Growth isn't coming at the expense of sustainable results. Quite the opposite. We're proving that it's possible to scale efficiently with discipline and still generate stronger earnings. Taken together, these elements have broadened our platform into a powerful multi-product, multi-segment, and multi-geo growth engine. Today, 104.7 million mass market customers, 3 million high-income clients, and 5.2 million small businesses engage with Nubank through a diverse suite of products ranging from credit and insurance to investments and crypto. This breadth is no accident. It is the result of a deliberate cross-sell strategy that expands a single product relationship into a broad ecosystem. By meeting customers' needs at every stage of their financial journey, we not only deepen loyalty, but also multiply the ways we can create value. This broad-based momentum is reflected in Q2. The active unsecured loans customer base expanded 56% year over year, while the secured customer base more than doubled, and crypto customers increased 41% year over year. All segments continue to post solid growth, and in our less mature countries, our core credit card franchise is scaling quickly. Card customers rose 52% in Mexico and 34% in Colombia. We're not only scaling, we're unlocking new markets, pioneering adoption in underpenetrated segments, and building the foundation for the long term. And as we continue to grow and deepen customer relationships, we're doing so with a business model that delivers results, not just in growth, but also in profitability. As we look ahead to this next chapter, having the right leadership in place is more important than ever. We've recently made significant additions to our management team that elevate our ability to execute on our long-term strategy and deepen our leadership bench. Over the past few months, we welcomed 3 truly exceptional leaders to Nubank. Roberto Campos Neto joins us as Vice Chairman and Head of Public Policy. As the former Governor of the Central Bank of Brazil, Roberto brings not only unmatched regulatory insight, but also a strategic vision for how technology and policy can shape more inclusive financial systems. Eric Young, our new Chief Technology Officer, brings deep expertise in scaling complex tech platforms and leading high-performing engineering teams at a global scale, having run and led products that reach over 900 million customers around the world. Ethan Eisman, our new Chief Design Officer, is a world-class design leader with a track record of building intuitive, human-centered digital experiences that delight hundreds of millions of users around the globe. All 3 are joining Nubank's management team and will report directly to me. They're world-class experts in their craft and, just as importantly, seasoned business leaders with experience and judgment to help guide Nubank through our next chapter of growth. If there's one thing that has defined Nubank since day one, it's our people. We've always had the right team for each stage of our journey, leaders who are not only exceptional in their domains, but who elevate the company around them. That remains true today. These additions reflect our ongoing commitment to having the best possible team in place for the next cycle, a cycle that will require even greater scale, complexity, and ambition. Together, Roberto, Ethan, and Eric represent the kind of talent advantage we believe is one of Nubank's greatest strengths, a dream team for where we're heading next. We're thrilled to have them on board, and I want to offer a very well welcome to all 3. With that, I'd like to pass the floor to our CFO, Guilherme Lago, who will walk us through the details of our financial results. Over to you, Lago.
Thank you, Davi, and good evening, everyone. Let me start by reinforcing how our business model creates value. We acquire customers at scale, increase engagement over time, monetize as cohorts mature, and we do all of this on a low-cost, highly efficient platform. On the left side of this slide, you see monthly RPAC consistently increasing across all cohorts, reaching $27.3 for customers who have been with us for longer. And even among these more mature customer cohorts, monetization keeps expanding. In the second quarter of 2025, our monthly RPAC crossed the 12 mark for the first time, reaching $12.2, up 18% year over year. Meanwhile, as you can see on the right side of the slide, cost to serve remains stable at 80 cents per active customer, reflecting the efficiency of our platform. This operating leverage is one of the most important and competitive advantages of Nubank. It is what allows us to offer better pricing to customers while consistently increasing our earnings power. Moving to our credit portfolio, total balances reached $27.3 billion in the second quarter, up 40% year over year on an FX-neutral basis. All segments contributed to this growth. Secure lending grew 200% on an FX-neutral basis, unsecured loans 70%, and credit cards 24%. The continued diversification has been a mark of our credit portfolio quarter after quarter. Secured and unsecured loans now represent more than one-third of our total portfolio, up from 25% just a year ago. This shift in mix is intentional, and it speaks to our ability to expand our credit portfolio spectrum over time and better serve customers in every single market where we operate. Moving to loan originations, we are operating a retail credit business at scale across Brazil, Mexico, and Colombia. In the second quarter, we maintained the strong pace from the previous quarter, originating $3.6 billion in loans. That marks a 43% year-over-year increase on an FX-neutral basis, and it is the highest origination volume we have ever reached. This consistent origination growth reflects both the sheer size of our consumer platform and the maturity of our credit underwriting engine in Latin America. Turning to our credit card portfolio in Brazil, installment balances remain the primary component of our interest-earning portfolio. This reflects our strategy of promoting more structured and predictable forms of credit, helping our customers finance purchase and transfers in a responsible way. Our mix is fundamentally different from that of the industry. While many players rely heavily on revolving balances, we have been building a more sustainable model centered on lower risk, lower cost interest earnings installments. And this translates into better products for our customers and healthier unit economics for Nu. Now turning to the other side of the balance sheet, funding. We continue to execute our strategy to build a scalable and sustainable deposit franchise across Latin America. Total deposits reached $36.6 billion in the second quarter, up 41% year over year on an FX-neutral basis. Brazil remains the anchor of our deposit base, but we are also seeing strong progress in Mexico and Colombia, where we have expanded both volumes and attach rates. This deposit growth is a core pillar of our long-term strategy. It is what enables us to become the leading and most competitive retail financial institution in the region. We have been lowering deposit yields in Mexico and Colombia in the recent months, with some significant changes implemented only now in early July 2025. As a result, our second quarter cost of funding did not yet fully reflect these adjustments. We expect the full impact to materialize only gradually and over the coming quarters. Now, turning to net interest income, we delivered strong growth again this quarter, up 33% year over year on an FX-neutral basis, reaching a record high of $2.1 billion in the quarter. NIM improved 80 basis points quarter over quarter on an FX-neutral basis, even with a slight reduction in our loan-to-deposit ratio, which went from 44% to 43%. In our most scaled market, Brazil, NIM continued to expand, supported by healthy spreads and growing volumes. In Mexico and Colombia, we continue investing to become the leading and most loved retail financial institution in these countries. While these investments, however, naturally weigh on the short-term margins, we believe they are critical to unlocking long-term value. Looking ahead, we see further room for margin expansions as we optimize the balance sheet, gradually reallocating liquidity from cash into credit and lower our costs of funding in Mexico and Colombia. Now, onto credit loss allowances and risk-adjusted NIM. CLA expenses remained relatively stable in the quarter. In early Q2, we began rolling out a major upgrades to our credit models. This will significantly increase credit card limits in Brazil throughout the remainder of 2025. As a result, we recognized provisions this quarter, front-loading expected credit losses, which have not yet been fully offset by the corresponding growth in the interest-earning portfolio and related revenues, naturally creating a temporary timing mismatch. Now, excluding this effect, credit loss allowance would have declined quarter over quarter on an FX-neutral basis, reflecting the normalization of seasonal dynamics that had impacted Q1. Now, despite these dynamics, strong NII more than offset the small increase in CLA expenses, driving our risk-adjusted NIM up to 9.2% in the second quarter of 2025. Next, delinquency metrics for our consumer credit portfolio in Brazil. The 15 to 90-day NPL ratio declined to 4.4% in the second quarter, a 30 basis points improvement versus the previous quarter. This was in line with our expectations and slightly better than the typical second quarter seasonality, which usually shows a 20 basis points drop. Now, the 90-plus day NPL ratio increased by 10 basis points to 6.6%, reflecting the rise in early delinquency observed in Q1 and following the usual seasonal pattern. Finally, coverage ratios remained solid and stable. We continue to carry a fairly robust provision buffer, both across the total portfolio and specifically across the 90-plus NPL balances. Shifting to gross profit, in Q2, gross profit reached a record high of $1.5 billion, up 24% year over year on an FX-neutral basis, a clear reflection of the strong momentum of our business. This performance was driven by strong NII expansion and stable credit loss allowances. Gross profit margin also improved sequentially, climbing now to 42.2%, up from 40.6% in the past quarter. Looking at the composition of our gross profit, we continue to see the benefits of our business model, not only in terms of growth and profitability, as we have seen in the prior slides, but also in terms of diversification and resilience. By leading with credit, we drive stronger engagement and deepen customer relationships over time, which unlocks cross-sell and increases shares of wallet. But fees and float have also become meaningful contributors to our gross profit and have added resilience and consistency to our revenues across cycles. Ultimately, being a credit-first fintech has helped us ignite what we call the principality flywheel. And with that, we have earned the right to cross-sell and diversify our gross profit base. Now turning to efficiency. In the second quarter, our efficiency ratio rose slightly to 28.3%, driven by two main factors. Number one, RSU expenses from the initial vesting of our 2025 annual grant, which typically happens around March of every year. And number two, higher marketing investments during the quarter. Now, as Davi mentioned earlier today, we are investing with intention to become the largest and the most loved financial institution in Latin America. While these investments may temporarily increase our efficiency ratio in the coming quarters, they are fully aligned with our long-term value creation strategy. The long-term trajectory remains intact. Our model continues to benefit from operating leverage, with significant room to unlock additional efficiencies as we scale. Supported by strong revenue growth and disciplined cost management, we expect the efficiency ratio to further decline over the coming years, driving, number one, continued margin expansion, number two, sustainable profitability, and number three, deeper competitive moats. Before we wrap up, it's important to highlight how our business model consistently delivers bottom-line performance and does so at scale. Net income reached $637 million in the second quarter, up 42% year over year on an FX-neutral basis. Return on equity reached 28%, continuing to track well above industry peers. Now, what makes this performance especially notable is how we got here, by charging lower prices and offering better experiences to our customers, while still delivering strong bottom line results. And we are just getting started. Which brings us to Mexico, where we are seeing encouraging momentum and a clear path to scale. Customer growth is accelerating, and our core product, credit cards, is scaling. We reached 6.6 million credit card customers this quarter, up from 4.3 million a year ago. Over the last 12 months, we accounted for more than a quarter of all new credit cards issued in Mexico. This is a clear sign of our early success in expanding access to credit in the country. At this stage in Mexico, our most important KPIs are: number one, growing a solid and engaged customer base; number two, building a large and resilient local currency liability franchise; and number three, continue to improve our credit underwriting models to approve more customers and drive sustainable portfolio growth. On the funding side, our liability franchise continues to show signs of strength. Even after adjusting down our deposit rates, deposits continue to exceed $6 billion, underscoring the value of our brand and the appeal of our products. Our interest-earning portfolio has gained strong traction recently, growing over 70% year-over-year on an FX-neutral basis. We will continue to scale credit, but at the right pace, accelerating when the signals are clear and consistent with our long-term strategy in Mexico. And we will never hesitate to pull back if and when the situation requires. We are very confident in our opportunity to win in Mexico, and our focus remains on disciplined execution and long-term value creation. With that, we will now open the call for questions. Thank you.
We will now start the Q&A session for investors and analysts. If you wish to ask a question, please click on Raise Your Hand. If your question is answered, you can exit the queue by clicking on Put Your Hand Down. Please limit yourself to one question and a follow-up. If you have further questions, please re-enter the queue. You may submit online questions at any time today using the Q&A box on the webcast. I would now like to turn the call over to Mr. Guilherme Souto, Investor Relations Officer.
Thank you, operator. Could you please open the line for Eduardo Rosman from BTG?
Hi everyone. Congrats on the numbers. I have a question for Davi. In recent months, we have seen important changes in the management team, including the announcement of a new CTO this week. So could you please help us understand, the significance of these changes for Nubank in this next phase? And please, if you could also connect this topic to the company's kind of international expansion, right? That would be great as well. Specifically, do these new additions suggest also a possible acceleration of the growth outside Brazil, including entering new markets, beyond Mexico and Colombia? Thanks a lot.
Rosman, thank you. Thanks a lot for the question. As we've said in the past, we have made this number of changes over the past couple of months, really thinking about the next 5 to 10 years. We think we have ahead one of the most interesting opportunities in technology in the world. Financial services is still the largest market in the world that hasn't really been disrupted by technology. Over 95% of the market cap of financial services globally, over $8 trillion, is still very much dominated by all traditional banks. And that is very different from what has happened in all our different segments. So as we think about the next 5, 10 years, we are preparing to play in the world, in the top leagues, in the world class. And as we prepare to play in the world leagues, we are bringing a world-class team. And this likely is going to mean adding talent, some talent that comes from Latin America globally, but also some talent that comes from some of the top world-class technology companies. And so that is a bit what we are preparing here. I think the addition of Roberto is very strategic in helping us strengthen our positioning in Latin America. We have regulated entities in the 3 markets that we operate. We will have many more regulated entities later on as we internationalize. So regulators are a key counterparty of us. We've always been ahead in terms of regulatory compliance, and we treat that very, very seriously. Public policy is a key aspect of also as what we do as a regulated financial institution. And in Roberto, we also were able to find all of that knowledge, but also a lot of technology and strategy knowledge. So it was a very key strategic addition to the team, and it has been truly phenomenal to be able to work with him here in the team over the past month already. And with the addition of Eric and Ethan, I think we are saying we are on the way to build one of the world-class products in financial services. We already have one of the most sophisticated technology stacks of any company in Latin America. We're in the middle of an AI transformation that we're taking extremely seriously, and we want to take advantage of all these opportunities that open ahead. And so I think as we bring somebody like Ethan with his knowledge of having run products for hundreds of millions of customers, and the same as Eric, we are just getting prepared for the next stage. So to summarize, I do think these additions help us both strengthening the market-leading position we have in Brazil and Latin America by upping up our game, and also prepares us to really go play in the big leagues as we think about internationalization over the next few years.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, David.
Thank you, Rosman.
Operator, could you open the line for Jorge Kuri for Morgan Stanley?
Hi, everyone. Congrats on the numbers. Great quarter. I wanted to maybe double click on your slide 11, your loan origination. You have 1% FX neutral, 1% FX neutral growth, I'm sorry, which is a very different number from what we've seen over the last year, where the quarter-on-quarter growths were in the double digit. And I appreciate that the year-on-year number is really strong, 43% FX neutral, and that's certainly a better way to look at it. But just given some of the things that happened in the quarter, specifically on your credit line increases, your clips on credit cards that you started to implement and reach record levels for the company, given that you are extracting more value out of your hyper-paying acquisition, given that we saw a big acceleration of PIX at the end of the first quarter that we assumed it was going to continue or has continued during the quarter. So if you can help us understand, if some of these things are just not reflected in the numbers, they're going to get reflected going forward, and any other dynamic for us to understand this different path of originations in the second quarter versus what we've seen over the last year. Thank you very much.
Hi, Jorge. This is Lago. Thanks for the question. So let me try to unpack this in by asset classes. So let me talk about kind of the slide 11 to which you allude brings kind of the evolution of originations only for loans. I'm going to try to address unsecured, then secure, and then credit cards, which are not here. So starting with unsecured, we have had a fairly robust set of kind of growth figures over the past quarters. We had an exceptionally strong first quarter of 2025, especially because it was a quarter in which we launched a few new kind of models and policies that allow us to embrace customers that were not eligible for unsecured credit lines at that point in time. And usually when you do so, you have kind of the first time effect of early kind of adopters of the new policy, which kind of increases the origination volumes. And also first quarter for unsecured credit is typically a seasonally strong quarter. We do expect, Jorge, that we will continue to grow unsecured lending originations fairly strongly throughout the remainder of 2025 and 2026, as long as we continue to see the asset quality numbers that we are seeing in our book, not only until the end of the second quarter, but until today, August 14th, everything seems to be super on track. We believe that we now account for over 20% of the origination market share of new unsecured loans in Brazil. And this should not only continue to gain speed, but it should be complemented by lending products in Mexico that have recently been launched. So feeling fairly good about the evolution of unsecured loans. Now, going to the secure loan story, Jorge, I think I would have to split the story here in two sub-asset classes. So you have the INSS and the public payroll loans excluding INSS. So for those who are not aware, INSS is the public payroll loans directed to pensioners and retirees. In the second quarter, there was kind of a major disruption in the INSS system. So the overall volume of the origination of the industry dropped by more than 50 to 55%. And our origination dropped by about 50% as well. We even gained market share there, but in a declining kind of origination quarter. We do expect that this will be fixed and resolved very promptly. We are assuming that by end of August, early September, origination of INSS, not only for us, but for the entire industry, will resume their historical growth. Most likely, in fact, we may see actually a spike in originations in the next kind of months to offset the lower originations. Now, if you exclude INSS, for all of the other public payroll loans, Jorge, especially SIAPI, our originations grew by more than 50% in the quarter. So we are making very good strides in our view in the ramp up of the public payroll loans there, not only by kind of adding more customers to existing contracts, but also by adding more contracts kind of to our portfolio of collateral agreements, a few of which will come into force in the second half of this year. And then if you look at the overall evolution of our portfolio, then I will draw your attention to slide 27, Jorge. You will see that even with kind of this one-off headwind from INSS, we continue to see all of the asset classes expanding at what we believe to be a fairly healthy pace. So in the quarter, portfolio grew by 8% FX neutral, and that growth was followed by loans, credit cards, IEP, and credit cards non-IEP. And my last attempt to address your question, you also mentioned credit cards. So look, credit cards, yes, we have been seeing kind of fairly material improvements in our ability to do credit underwriting and to continue to expand the credit card portfolio. It has to do with the adoption of new models and technologies to how we do credit underwriting, going all the way to better kind of traditional machine learning models, but also neural networks and predictive AI technologies. But more and more, Jorge, by the adoption of new data that we acquire, right? So the more customers stay with us, the more data we accumulate. We are now the leaders in open finance consent. The combination of better modeling technique with more data has allowed us to consistently increase kind of credit underwriting, credit limits, and utilizations. Based on our latest reading, our market share in Brazil in credit card receivables may have grown by more than 100 basis points in this quarter specifically. So we are fairly encouraged by what is ahead of us, not only in the existing segments, but also as we expand into new segments.
Thank you, Lago. That was super clear. Thanks for all of the additional details, and congrats again on the quarter and all of the great new hires.
Thanks, Jorge.
Operator, could you please open the line for Yuri Fernandes from JP Morgan?
Thank you and good afternoon. Also, congrats on the margin, the risk-adjusted margin expansion and the good quarter. I have a follow-up also to Lago. Just on asset quality, most metrics, they look good, right? Stable coverage, 15 to 90 days improving, slightly better than seasonality. The only thing that caught my attention, Lago, was a higher stage 3 formation, up quarter over quarter. I would like to get your view on this, because when I go to 2024 and 2023, I also saw some seasonality in the second Q. So just checking if this is basically seasonal. From your answer to Kuri, I get an impression that you feel comfortable with asset quality, but given we have many investors concerned with the macro situation in Brazil, would be good to get your feeling on the formation and also how you see asset quality. Thank you.
No, thanks, Yuri, for the question. So the short answer is yes. I think the increase in NPL formation as well as in stage 3 formation that you can see on slide 26 of our presentation is almost entirely explained by the seasonality of basically the spike in seasonal delinquency in the first quarter, kind of flowing through the second quarter. Now, broadly on asset quality, we are fairly mindful of the macroeconomic kind of situations in the markets where we operate, Brazil, Mexico, and Colombia, also how it may impact kind of credit cycles. And this is a concern that has lingered not only with us, but also with many investors and other stakeholders since late last year and early this year. So far, and I say so far until August 14th, we haven't seen kind of that deterioration playing out materially in our asset quality figures. All of our asset quality figures are performing largely as expected. That doesn't, of course, mean that we have to assume that this will stay as it is going forward. We continue to underwrite with kind of largely two kind of pillars in our mind. Pillar number one, we always assume that the future will be worse than the past. So irrespective of where any of us here at the company may think we are in the credit cycle, when it comes to credit underwriting decisions, we always assume that there's going to be a deterioration in the credit cycle over the next 12, 24, and 36 months. And then above and beyond that, which is pillar number two, every cohort of unsecured credit that we underwrite has to abide by the following kind of stress test, which is losses have to go up, can go up by up to 2 times, and that cohort still has to be NPV positive. So with that, we build enough credit buffer resilience that will allow us to continue to grow conservatively and with conviction that we can withstand kind of unfavorable economic cycles over time.
Very clear. Thank you, Lago, and congrats again.
Thanks, Yuri.
Yeah. Operator, could you please open the line to Geoffrey Elliott from Autonomous?
Hello. Thanks very much for taking the question. Could we talk about the mix of credit card balances? The last 5 quarters, interest earning installments have been between 27% and 29% of total balances. Are we now in a range which is normalized and where you'd expect to stay? Or is there scope for that to move higher with increased originations of PIX credit? Thank you.
Oh, thanks, Geoff. Look, I think I would say they should stay more or less where it is. Maybe kind of small variations up or down, maybe a little bit upside risk here, depending on how pronounced PIX financing and other transaction financing products may unfold. But I wouldn't suggest that there is a lot of room for us to go materially beyond the 29% that you alluded.
Perfect. Thank you.
Operator, could you please open the line for Neha Agarwala from HSBC?
Hi, thank you for taking my question and congratulations on the numbers. quickly on the deposit side of the franchise, two notable trends. First, on the Brazil, there was a big pickup sequentially on the deposits. What was the driver for that? Are you being more active consciously and trying to gather more deposits in Brazil? So any explanation on that? And on the Mexico side, you brought down the rates quite significantly, lowered the gap versus the TA. What have been the early reactions from the customers? Are you seeing outflow of deposits in July, early August, or has that been fairly stable?
No, Neha, thanks for the question. So let me try to break it down. In Brazil, we did see, or we continue to see, an increase in deposits there. I think that has to do primarily with the increase in engagement and share of wallet that we have had with our customers. I would not ascribe a lot of value to that, to any kind of initiatives to pay up for deposits in Brazil, even though we have launched a few new features that kind of reward customer engagement and loyalty over time. If you were to compare, for example, the cost of funding of Brazil in isolation, it would have been practically unchanged over the past 2 quarters at kind of low 80s. So I wouldn't justify the increase in deposits based on increase in cost of funding, but largely on increase in customer engagement and sequential gains in shares of wallets. Also, kind of progressively, as we make some strides into more affluent segments, it's natural that we should also see increases in deposits over time. So that's the story about Brazil. The story about Mexico, just to maybe put everyone in perspective, Neha, if you allow me. So we did announce some material shifts to the design and the pricing of our deposits in Mexico in early July, and that is expected to lead to kind of the lowering of our cost of funding in Mexico. None of that, however, is reflected in the numbers that we see here in the second quarter. So those are things that we will see throughout the remainder of 2025. Now, back to your question, Neha, look, we have been watching this super carefully since we've made the movements. Everything has been kind of evolving as expected. As we continue to offer what we call the money box, for capped now at 25,000 pesos, it basically allows us to even better serve and offer an even stronger value proposition for the vast majority of our customers, nearly 90% of the customers. And so we believe that we will be able to maintain customer engagement NPS at the segments that we care the most. We did run kind of some risk of having what people call the yield seekers eventually moving their money out. That outflow has not been material so far, even though we watched this carefully. So far, so good, Neha. If things continue to play out as we have seen, we do expect to be able to continue to have a fairly robust local currency, low-cost retail deposits in Mexico that has already materially de-risked our funding strategy in the country, but progressively at lower funding costs.
I would just add one more point here to Lago, which is the following. When we launched Mexico, our savings account product was fairly basic. It was an online saving account without a lot of the functionalities. We didn't even have ability to allow customers to deposit offline or to withdraw, which is very key in a market like Mexico. So in a way, it was a product. It was truly an MVP as we launched. That meant that we had to pay higher yield. As we launch additional products and the product gets much more robust, we've added OXXO as a distribution channel. Customers are now able to withdraw cash. We've added a number of what we call self-driving bank functionalities inside our app. Then the value proposition increases. That means we have to compensate less on the yield. And that's why we've been able to decrease yield without seeing significant changes in the flows of deposits we're seeing into Mexico. And the same strategy has really been applied to Brazil and Colombia.
Super clear, Lago Dave. Thank you for that. If I can have my follow-up on a separate topic, but brief one. The hyperplane expansion in the credit limit that you talked about, is there any particular segment of customer base where it is more targeted towards higher income or mass market or your super core segments? Because that'll eventually have an impact on probably stronger loan growth in the second half of it or in 2026 for your loan book. Thank you so much.
So far has been mostly focused on mass market, but we expect that a lot of these new AI-enabled architecture will be now applied to a number of different models. The amazing opportunity of Hyperplane is that it's not only a modeling. The team didn't not only bring a number of modeling capabilities, but also a true new platform that allows us to put into production and develop a number of different models at the same time. And so this model was the first one. We expect a number of new models coming in for a number of different segments for the different countries and for different applications such as collections, fraud, cross-sell. So we're very excited about this, and it's early days of applying this new technology to a lot of the decisioning that we have across Nubank, but we expect to see meaningful changes across the board.
Operator, could you please open the line for Pedro Leduc from Itaú?
Hi, good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for the question. Both on cards, please. First, the number that you give us, and this has to do with Pix financing, that the number of clients using it transactionally fell a bit, 17.3 to 17.1 this quarter. The last call, you had mentioned that you had slightly become more comfortable to gradually resume the product to those certain clusters you had withdrawn from after tests had worked well. So can you give us an update on the Pix financing process, how you've seen it roll out, when you can see it get more traction? And then the second question, it's sort of related, has to do with the number of active credit cards then that has also fallen a bit. And we can see that you're rolling out more limits and all. I would sort of expect the opposite, no more active cards. So if you can help us square this out a little bit. Thank you.
Sure. So Leduc, thanks for the question. Let me try to touch on each of them separately. So Pix financing, or better said, the whole transactional financing, kind of a family of products, of which today Pix financing is by far the biggest one, but that continues to grow. We did show in the last quarter that we had resumed growth there, that we were at the end of the first quarter already with a bigger kind of a Pix financing and transactional financing portfolio than we had in the second quarter of 2024 when we decided to pull back. That only continued to increase. So today we are even ahead of where we were in the first quarter of 2025. The performance of the portfolio continues to be fairly robust. And it has been widely adopted by our customer base. So you may see, Leduc, a few kind of a noise in seasonality when you go from one quarter to another. But by all measures, it has been kind of a remarkable success for the customers. It has been adopted by, so I think as of the end of the second quarter, over 40% of our credit card customers were also active with some type of transactional financing, primarily Pix financing functionality. So the attach rate there is very high, very healthy, not only in the first order, but also in the second order impact. So we do expect this to continue to grow. It certainly has a high correlation with the overall usage of Pix in the economy, but we don't have any concerns as we discussed when we presented the results of the third quarter of 2024. So far, so good. Second question that I also wanted to address, which is credit cards. So yes, the number of active credit card customers in Brazil, depending if you measure this in terms of purchase volume or in terms of revenues, has remained largely flat, right? So it's like in one measure it goes by plus 100,000. The other measure goes less than 100,000, but overall it has remained flat. What we do expect to see going forward is that the main lever of earnings growth for our credit card business in Brazil will mostly come from the increase of utilization in RPAC per product rather than the increase of the number of credit cards. It doesn't mean that the number of credit cards will not grow. Yes, it will continue to grow, but I think the biggest leverage will be in RPAC and utilization. And then you mentioned, look, if you are increasing eventually credit limits, shouldn't you see necessarily an increase in number of active customers? Not yet, especially because the credit limit policies that we have implemented has been directed primarily at existing customers, not at initial lines. It is only natural that as we collect more data, as we continue to improve the models, what you suggested will likely happen as well.
That's great, Lago. Thank you.
Operator, could you please open the line for Mario Pierre from Bank of America?
Hey guys, good evening. Congrats on the quarter. Thanks for taking my question. Lago, I wanted to discuss a little bit the private payroll product. It doesn't seem like Nubank is too excited about the product, or at least I haven't heard you guys talk too much about the opportunity. When we talk to other industry players, right, they think this is one of the best products to come to Brazil in the last, I don't know, 20 years. And again, they talk about the potential size of this market being significant. Can you discuss a little bit about your strategy in the private payroll product? Like looking at origination data, right? We haven't seen Nubank being very active yet. When do you think you're going to be more active? Why are you holding back? Are you seeing this product as an opportunity, or do you think this is a threat to your business? Thank you.
Oh, Mario, thanks for the question. Look, we are very excited about private payroll product. We think that has been a fairly important and thoughtful product innovation that has been added to Brazil. And I think Nubank has much more to gain than to lose with this product by a wide margin. Let me share a few thoughts on this, right? So we differently from kind of the more established kind of incumbent banks, we don't have kind of a B2B2C distribution channel to kind of to compete for corporate payroll loan business in Brazil, which is a fairly important one. And basically the private payroll loan product allow us to basically break into this segment in a very profitable manner, right? I don't need necessarily now to have a B2B contract with company X to be able to access all of the employees of this company and also enjoy the benefits of the payroll flow that goes through the bank account. I can have access to tons of data that so far we have been kind of precluded from having access to. So we expect that this product will improve kind of collaterals across the board, will lower data asymmetry, and therefore will help the overall economy lower spreads and materially increase the size of the pie. So far, so good. Why have we not been kind of as aggressive at the inception of this product? So the product was announced in late March. We launched the product right after this in early April. But we have not yet been kind of fully kind of, we haven't been able to raise our comfort levels to adequate levels with respect to the quality of the collateral, right? So I think some of the collateral that are structural to this product have not yet been fully tested and implemented. And the first data points that we have actually seen in the industry has suggested to us that the risk has not yet been fully addressed. So first payment defaults are set to be in the 10 to 18%, which I think it is higher than what at least we would expect so far. So we are not yet fully comfortable with the quality of the collateral, number one. Number two, we don't see necessarily material first mover advantages there. I think if we are the lowest cost manufacturer of this product, we will be able to secure a very meaningful market share position when the collateral system is more tested and solidified. But Mario, you've been doing this for a long time, like many of us, and you may recall that at the beginning of the public payroll systems, the Consignado Público, the collateral was not working super well in the first months or even in the first quarters. It took some time, but the product actually ended up being a remarkable success. We do expect that private payroll loan will follow suit, and we believe that as the lowest cost manufacturer of the industry, with more than 50% of the target market for this product within our customer base, we will have a fairly relevant ability to win there when the product is more mature.
Yep. Okay, no, that's clear. Yeah, some of the players that we're seeing already more active in this segment, they're talking about, yes, we're seeing higher, elevated provisions and delinquencies. However, they still think that this is a 30% ROE product right now, so it feels like it could get even better. So I was just wondering, right? Like, I understand your concerns about the quality of the collateral. It's a new product. However, right, Nubank is always moving ahead of everyone else and trying to innovate. So that's why I was a little bit surprised that you're not more active right now, but I fully understand your concerns. Thank you.
Thank you, Mario.
Operator, could you please open the line for Tito Labarta from Goldman Sachs?
Hi, good evening. Thank you for the call and taking my questions, and congratulations on the strong results. A little bit of a follow-up, but just how do you think about your loan growth along with your deposit growth, right? Because loan growth seems to be accelerating. You're doing well there, but deposit growth remains very strong. On the one hand, it's a headwind to earnings, but on the other hand, it's good for client engagement, client addition. Are you comfortable just continuing to grow that deposit book and get these clients, even if it is a bit of a headwind to earnings? Or at some point, would you want to try to slow down the deposit growth to match the loan growth? Just how do you think about, I guess, the assets and the liabilities growing in conjunction? Thank you.
Tito, thanks so much for the question. Look, a few thoughts there and how we are thinking about kind of deposits from both a financial standpoint, but also from a strategic standpoint. I would say that from a financial standpoint, we are very comfortable with the loan-to-deposit ratio that we see in Brazil, Mexico, and Colombia, not only with respect to the quantum, but also with respect to the duration and with the resilience of the retail deposits. If anything, we have buffer to either grow credit more rapidly, but we don't think that growing kind of credit more rapidly just because you have more funding is the most kind of wise approach to this. Or we would have the ability to eventually lower prices and bring deposits down. That from a purely financial standpoint. However, from a strategic standpoint, especially in markets where kind of information asymmetry is lowering very fast, including in Brazil with open finance, we do believe that we need to be the best place for our customers across Latin America to receive payments, make payments, and store value. And to that extent, having a very competitive and compelling kind of a deposit design, which includes, but it's not limited to price, is paramount to our primary banking relationship customers. So we don't expect that we will play down with no deposit rates in Brazil anytime soon. We do expect that in Mexico and Colombia, we will continue to actively kind of reshape the size and the price of the deposits to optimize the value proposition for the customers, loan to deposit, and liquidity resilience there. So that's our thought process there. I think Mexico and Colombia, you should see increases in NIM as a result of that optimization. In Brazil, I think you should see kind of a relatively stable NIM with respect to the deposits only.
Okay, no, that's great. Very helpful. Thank you, Lago. And if I can, just a quick follow-up, I guess. When you think of client monetization, I'm looking at slide 18, gross profit breakdown, right? I mean, credit is still a big component. Fees have been around this 30% level for some time, and then the rest is float. Do you think that's an optimal level? Is there an optimal level that you would like to get to? Just how do you think about that breakdown between, I guess, lending, fees, and other sources of monetization?
So, Chito, the one thing that I would point out is I would kind of respond to this by sending you to another slide, which is slide 9. Right? If you take a look at this slide, which is a very clear comparison between the revenues per active customers that we have and the cost per active customers that we have. Today, we have a weighted average RPAC at about $12.2. The more mature cohorts are already at $27, $28. The RPAC of incumbent banks are largely at $45. So we do expect over time that we will take the RPAC from 12 to 15 to 20 and onwards towards the levels of incumbent banks, while our cost to serve will remain at or below $1. So that is kind of the power of the operating leverage of our digital banking model. Now, what are the main levers for us to bring kind of the RPAC from 12 to 30 to 40? If you take a look at the profit pool of retail banking in Latin America as a proxy, about 65 to 70% of that is credit. So credit is expected to be kind of the bulk of that growth going forward. That does not mean, however, that all credit are created equally. You will have more secure credit, more unsecured credit. So the mix of credit will kind of shift. But I wouldn't be surprised if credit accounts for a substantial part of the RPAC expansion. And it's one of the reasons why we are so excited with kind of digital banking models that are able to provide competitive solutions and resilient solutions for credit for at scale, because that is really where kind of the bulk of the profit pool is, not only in Latin America, but across many other markets in the globe.
Great. No, super helpful. Thank you, Lago, and congrats again.
So thank you, everyone. We now have approached 60 minutes of the call, so we are now concluding today's call. On behalf of Nu Holdings, our investor relations.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was long, but we knew it would be. Okay, thank God I saved my freaking thing. By the way, everyone online is making me feel like... Okay, I don't know if we have computer nerds in here, but I'm getting bombarded based on the specs that I said about my PC. And everyone said, like Couch Investors said that I'm preparing for GTA 6 on my computer. Do I have computer nerds in the chat? I want this for streaming content. Okay, I'm streaming. I've got a ton of things open, four monitors. I run a lot of stuff. Okay, I edit video, but it was like a $4,500 PC. So that's Canadian dollars. So I don't know what that would be, like 3,300 or something like that. American 3,200. I know a 5090 would be better, but I don't need. Most people are telling me I don't even need. You overdid it. No, I don't. Honestly, I've done that before where I've gone like budget PC. Well, I'm not saying 2K is budget PC, but like, I've gone not so hard on the RAM before and just like completely regretted it. I know like RAM's the easiest thing to pop out and buy something new, but yeah. That's also what I'm thinking. It's also the first PC I bought with liquid cooling in it as well. But yeah, you could run your own crypto mining now. That's what I'm hoping for. Yeah. Let's hope it's I don't know. I could go down like a little bit on some things. Yeah. GPU can be bottlenecked by CPU. Well, what I heard was this is like the best CPU that you could buy right now. I think there's like one higher from AMD, but mine is up there. Up there. So I don't think I'll be bottlenecked there. The 4 terabyte SSD is definitely overkill. I'll never use that in my life, but whatever. Hey, I've been spoiled rotten by the markets, and the companies I've been spoiled by was Nvidia. I'll give them back a little bit. It'll keep you warm in the Canadian winters. What, running my PC? You max need 3? No, honestly, I disagree 100%. I would go 6 monitors if I could. The thing is like, if you're just working, I would do 2 monitors. But if I'm running a news, like live streams, I need all of them. Okay? I want to see things come in at real time. The thing I'm literally bottlenecked from is just desk space. That's the only thing that's stopping me from like going 6 monitor style, just craziness. Yeah. But Guy, what is there's not a bigger one. What do you want me to do? And by the way, I was actually recommended a worse CPU than this. But what would you even, what are you saying right now? You don't need physically 6 monitors? What, should I do digital monitors? What do you mean? Or are you saying that I can split them up into multiple viewings on my certain monitors, which is what I do right now anyway. I use more than 4 like I am splitting in my note-taking and comment sections and X and stock graphs and then the earnings calls. And then it's weird, like StreamYard, which is what you guys know that I use for like the actual stream, but I can't ban people if people are spamming in chat. So I have to have this open and YouTube Studio. It's just a lot. Yeah. That's really why I got a real beefy computer. It's just so I can just run as many tabs of whatever I want. Just get gross with it, you know? All right, ladies and gentlemen, I got to get going. I got to eat dinner and get ready for my next stream. But congratulations to the Nubank shareholders that get to see a little bit of repayment for, you know, it falling off a little bit over the last 3 or so months. We knew that there was going to be better than expected results a little bit on the from a weaker dollar perspective this quarter. Whether that's going to be the case going forward, that'll change. But yeah. Thank you all so much for watching. Really do appreciate your time. But bye for now.